sure I'm on mute, which I am not. I am not on mute. So that's good that I checked that. Go to live now. Open up the OBS. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there, people. Let me find my theme song. Maybe we'll play that this morning. Sometimes I have things available. Get the YouTube going over there. Push this out of my way so I don't screw it up. And then go to the tiki-talkie over here. You know, I should leave this one pinned because I never can find this one because it's so old. This is so very old. So I probably should find it and leave it pinned. That would be a wise thing. Which one do I think it is? I don't think I know. I should not have done this. No, I should not have. I unpinned my theme song, and now I don't know where it is, you guys. Oh, I think this is it. Okay, well, we'll find out in a few seconds. Nope, that's not it. But that is a clue. It's definitely a clue. Here it is. I think. No. Man. What have I done?
Learn more.
Nope.
You know.
That's not it. Okay, last chance.
Thank you guys for all the people who
That's not it. Oh, I remember what that is, though. That was a long time ago. Not back here, though. I feel like that's a definite clue. It's not this one. Nope.
I love this.
But that got a lot of views for some reason. I'm waiting for Godless Engineer. He's my guest today. Let me send out some notifications. And meanwhile, I'm just looking for my theme song to this wonderful show.
That's what I do live.
Nope, that's not it. But I unpinned it. I should not have done that. What made me think that I would be safe in doing that? And now that I've unpinned it, I can't find it. Oh, here we go. I'll just play a different song for you guys. Hey, Godless, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for having me up for one of your Decon Q&As.
Thanks so much for being here. I'm so excited. I don't know if you've ever watched one or not, and it's okay if you haven't. You will after you enjoy your show today. You'll go, hey, these are actually really fun, and you'll probably start watching them. But what I do is I start the show. I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and just like icebreaker questions, and then we're going to invite people from the audience to come up. Sometimes they're shy. Sometimes they'll just put their questions in the chat. Mezzo's live right now, so I'll probably drag this first hour of my questions on for a little bit, and then that way more people will be here to ask you questions.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, we love to play a game called Divine or Decline, and it's everybody's favorite game that I made up. So,
Okay.
Does that sound like fun?
Oh, it definitely does.
All right. I was going to play. I have a theme song for this show. You guys, I'm sorry. I'll find it. I will repin it. And then next time I do this show, I'll play the theme song to the show. But I don't know. Yeah, Mezzo is still live right here. He is still live over on YouTube right now. So when he's done, everybody come over here, go tell everybody to hear that they should come over here when he's done. But right now, I will spend some time getting to know the Godless engineer. Oops. Sorry, I'm moving you around here. And ask him my questions. That's what I'll do. All right, here we go. Here are my icebreaker questions for you today. So you're going to be at is it NanoCon? Is that how you say it? Is that where you're going to be?
Well, yeah. So there's a few things that I'm doing this year. There's a few pretty standard conferences that we go to. NanoCon is one of them. It's right up there in Nashville, Tennessee.
Awesome.
Last year I sponsored. This year I'm going to sponsor. I just have to wait a little bit so I can get the capital in to be able to do the sponsorship. But I'm definitely going to do the sponsorship for NanoCon, and it's a blast going out there. There's just so many things to do. Like they've got different talks and panels and everything like that. So it's a really nice time. It's a fun time. I think more people should come out. Although, well, I mean, like I think that it was pretty near sold out last year. So I mean, like, yeah,
wow.
It was sold out. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. What is the thing you're looking forward to most going to the conventions this year?
Well, I mean, honestly, the convention that we're hosting is actually the thing that I'm most excited about. We're hosting one called Rocket City Reason here in North Alabama, in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've got Seth Andrews. It's going to open up, and then we've got a bunch of panels with a bunch of people from TikTok and YouTube. And then we're closing out the day with Forrest Valkai and Erica Gutsit Gibbon. We've also got a bunch of social stuff going on. Like we've got an Alabama barbecue on Friday night. We've got a drag show that night too. And then we're going to have some like open game time, like after the drag show. And we're also going to have a live line show after the conference on Saturday. And then Sunday, we're actually doing a group tour of the U.S. Space and Rocket Center.
That is so fun. Now I want to go. That sounds so fun. Yeah, a drag show sounds amazing, huh, Ty here? That sounds amazing. Hey, are we up over on the Deconstruction Junction, Ty here? I know we are on my YouTube. I don't know how many viewers we have. A lot of times I have issues with my YouTube, so we don't get a lot over there, but we're probably up on the Deconstruction Junction. So hello to everybody over on YouTube. Make sure you're following the Godless Engineer, and I am CrystalJae, Jae, on YouTube as well. Subscribe to our channels. That sounds really fun. I really want to go. What is the most like chaotic thing that's ever happened at a secular event that you've been to?
Well, that chaotic in what way? Chaotic good or chaotic bad?
The most, I don't know, whichever one you feel safe enough to share. Like, I don't want you to overshare, but I don't want you to undershare.
Right. Yeah. So the Arc, we did it wasn't like a conference or anything, but it was an event. It was the Arc Encounter event. That was pretty interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. So that day we had actually gone to the Creation Museum, and we went around the Creation Museum to see whatever they had done up there. And I had actually made a video. It's on my YouTube channel if anybody's interested in like
oh my God, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's a recent tour through the Creation Museum, and you get the pleasure of my narration of like each like exhibit that they have. And nobody said anything to me about it. So, I mean, that was kind of fun, but it was actually my first speaking event last year, and it was a bit chaotic going around that because they were trying to stream it, but it was like in 100-degree weather or something. And so, yeah, there was a bunch of stuff like that going on. But that whole day was just a little bit chaotic and getting everything together and whatnot. Usually conventions are pretty smooth. I would say the chaos probably plays out on the back end, like making sure all the speakers are there and everything like that. There's been times when, like at NanoCon last year, a speaker or two just didn't show up for their speaking engagement and whatnot. So I'm sure that the chaos is pretty well hidden behind the scenes as opposed to otherwise, like out in public.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably true. Welcome in, everybody. So good to see you. Um, my guest today is Godless Engineer, and I will be having y'all come up and ask your questions in a little bit. We're just doing some icebreaker questions for right now. I have never been to I've never been to a non-believers convention of any kind, a secular convention. Oh, bless you. Well, whatever you. Anyway, that's Doug.
I say
But
Gesundheit.
I tell people what I usually say. Like, if he would have sneezed a few more times, I would have told him, "Stop it," instead of "bless you." I have been to chess conventions because that's very interesting. No, it actually is really interesting if you're into chess. Chess seems boring, but I got into it with my son when he was really young, and then our whole family kind of got into it, and so we would go to these big chess conventions, and there was never much drama at those either, but it was like, so it was so fun meeting everybody. But I do want to go to some of these conventions. These sound really, really fun.
It can be.
And you know what?
It can be really fun. Like I know the Central Florida Free Thought does a convention every 2 years, and they actually have some kind of like local like a charitable service that they do. Yeah, they do a food pantry thing where they have all of the like components to make one of the food boxes that the pantry gives out, and so like just while people are there, they pack food
Wow.
boxes and they donate them to the food pantry, and so like there's like this whole charitable aspect to it. So like there's a lot of conferences out there that have projects like that they do.
Yeah, that's really cool. If you are trying to learn chess, I will tell you that somebody was saying in chat they're trying to learn chess. If you are trying to learn chess, there's two things I recommend. There is a vintage Scholastic game for chess. It's from the early 2000s. I can't think of the name right now, but really, it is the best way to learn chess. It's so good. But the other fun thing to do is do chess puzzles, and it'll be like mate into white to move or whatever, mate in two moves, and it's those are really good ways to learn chess. I'm not good at chess. I don't know how to play chess, and I just got into watching others play it and learning about the masters and the grandmasters, and just nerding out with my kid as he went through his chess adventure.
Yeah, I know my wife actually is doing the chess learning track on Duo because apparently Duo has
I
a
didn't know
chess.
it.
Yeah,
That's so cool. It's so good for kids. If anybody has kids, I do not care. If you can get your kid into a chess, even if they don't stay with it, it's good for their test scores. Like, it helps them in so many areas in learning. It's crazy. And it's so good for kids with autism and ADHD. It helps hyper focus for kids. It's really, really good. It's a very healthy thing to learn. So I'm a big proponent of chess. The funniest thing I ever did at a chess tournament was I was getting a hat signed and by a grandmaster. Grandmaster, Sarawant. I can't think of his name right now. It's been many years. Anyway, and there was a lady in front of me who hated me. It was mom school drama stuff. And she was up there and she was like, "My son Timmy, blah, blah, blah." And I was thinking, he doesn't know who your son is. Why are you talking to him like he knows you? That's so weird, right? So I'm judging her harshly while I'm standing behind her, as a mom should, because anyway, and so I got up there and I said, "Could you please sign this to my worthy opponent?" And he did. And so I have a hat from a grandmaster that says, "To my worthy opponent, Yasser Serwan." That's who signed it. Grandmaster Yasser Serwan. And it is something that I cherish.
No, yeah, I would
that,
definitely cherish that too. That sounds like a pretty awesome time there.
Yeah, he was really cool. He was very, very cool. Hey, Holy Ghosted, welcome in, buddy. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We'll get to your questions in just a few minutes. I'm going through just my icebreaker questions right now, and I'm just going a little extra slow while Mezzo finishes up his show over on YouTube. Okay, so how long has your deconstruction journey actually been? And because I know you've been around the deconstruction community, or were you always an atheist and you just were really just doing atheist content before?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I guess this particular sort of deconstruction sort of environment here on TikTok and other places, I guess, relatively new to it. I mean, I had kind of started wading in probably about last year or something like that. But I mean, I've been doing content creation in the secular and atheist space since about 2012. I deconstructed, well before that, and I graduated in 2012 with my master's in software engineering. And so, I was also subsequently pissing off my family members by, being an atheist and not being afraid to verbalize, my thoughts and views. And so I created a Facebook page, Godless Engineer, and it eventually, it started taking off and everything like that. And I had a good few months of like a big boom in growth, and so we're sitting at about 135,000 over there right now. That fluctuates, daily. Yeah, and so during that time, though, I started doing like YouTube content. At first, it was really irregular, and then I started doing regular content, and I just have been grinding away at it since. Going to conferences every once in a while, and really just trying to, as my tagline on my YouTube stuff says. I try to critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. And that's kind of been the guiding light for like all of my efforts, in the atheist and secular sort of space. I try to empower people to be able to stand up and use their voice. I encourage it all the time. I love the fact that here on TikTok, so many people can just, go live and have conversations with people. And it's always been my goal to like give people, good argumentation or have good examples or provide people with, good counter arguments, for a bunch of the religious stuff that they get. So that's kind of where I am. So new to this particular group of deconstruction, sort of group of people, but I've kind of been working in and out of several different groups that have been going on for a while.
Absolutely. Like you have been known by quite a few people in like YouTube and other platforms. Amazing person in the deconstruction community. You've also co-hosted with a lot of people. So who's been your like favorite person to co-host with, and what makes that dynamic work so well?
Oh man, I've co-hosted with so many great people, and every single person has their own has their own positives that I try to work with and play off of and everything. So it's hard for me to pick any one particular person that I've kind of co-hosted with. I know Dalton, the Bible guy, from here on TikTok. He's probably in one of my top faves there. I mean, obviously Justin, but I mean Forrest. I have such a great time with Forrest, co-hosting with him on the line. Forrest has never really done anything here on TikTok with me or anything like that. But
He doesn't really go live on TikTok except for solo, though. Really, right?
Right.
Like I haven't really seen him co-host on TikTok.
No, that's what I've noticed. And I mean, he's pretty much, he has so many things going on at once that, he's just so busy, but co-hosting with him on the line is always a fun time. It's always a good time. So, But yeah, I would have to. I mean, I hate to give you this really non-answer, but it's just like every single person I've hosted with has been great.
That's okay. Like I mean, it's really hard because I interview all the creators. So if you asked me who was my favorite interview, that would be difficult too. I've had some great interviews, so I don't know. They're all fun, and I enjoy learning about all the people. And there's always a different dynamic, and that's what makes it fun, right?
Right.
Okay, this is really like serious, but would you rather do a live whiteboard draw off against Mezzo or a slavery debate against Dr. Bowen? No hedging, you have to pick.
Honestly, I feel like I would probably fare better in a draw off with Mezzo. I have my own whiteboard that I've used on live streams before, so like I'm already prepared
Oh,
for
you're
it.
prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
All
think
right.
everybody listening definitely needs to challenge Mezzo and be like, "Hey Mezzo, John called you out there on a draw off," and so
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to clip this now. I'm going to put it out there. Yeah, Mezzo, the marker has been thrown down or whatever. I don't know. Like when you meet people at convention, what's one question you wish people would ask you, but almost nobody does?
oh, let's see. What's one question I wish they would ask me, but like nobody does. That nobody does. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I usually don't come into it with an expectation of what I'm gonna be asked. Honestly, I guess I would wish that more people would ask me to convince them to be a mythicist because I really feel like there needs to be more
Ooh,
mythicists out there, and I feel like I've got a good
I
argument
love
for it.
that.
And it's like,
I
hey,
love
hey,
that.
Godless engineer, why don't you convince me to be a mythicist? I'm like, I got you, fam.
Okay, so here we go. Convince me to be a mythicist. And I'll tell you right now where I'm at, just to be fair to you, okay?
Okay,
Right now, I'm leaning pretty hard towards mythicism. I
okay.
I read Jaron's book, Christ Before Jesus, and I listened to him and other mythicists, and I don't know. I'm starting to get convinced. The thing that stops me is listening to people like Justin who say, yeah, but there's like enough information out there that it seems like he was a real person. So, what do you got?
Okay, well, I definitely come at it different from Jaren. I know Jaren has the stylometric analysis, and it's not that it doesn't have any basis. I'm a bit hesitant just because of how statistics and probability can obviously be used to misrepresent things. Not saying that Jaren misrepresents anything. It's just it's a little bit difficult to work with. You got to be very precise about it. I typically go with the minimal mythicist position, which is a probabilistic position too, just in a different way. It uses Bayesian analysis in order to come to the conclusion. And you don't have to know math necessarily in order to be able to understand it. But essentially, the reason why I'm a mythicist is that if you put Jesus in the correct reference class to begin with, like what's the earliest version of Jesus that we have in recorded history? What we have is a highly mythologized figure it's a savior figure of a mystery cult, right? And he's a divine figure initially as Paul understands him. So when you place Jesus in the correct reference class, that would be the reference class of like a classical hero type, which is characterized by Lord Raglan and Otto von Rank. They're maybe I got their names mixed up there, but the Rank Raglan classical hero type is typologically fits Jesus really well. It's between 17 or the full 22 points that he matches, right? And typically,
Wow.
if you're I think it's if you score 14 points or more on that list, like you like characteristics of the person matches 14 or more of the classical hero types, then you're more than likely to be fictional from the get-go. Okay. And that doesn't mean that a historical person can't rank high. It's just pretty likely that, you're not going to be a historical figure if you do rank high. So there's that aspect of it, right? And then when you combine that with the mystery cult aspect of it, that there are no mystery cults that are based on real historical savior figures, right? So that means that Christianity would have to be that one outlier cult in history that has a real historical figure, that has a real historical savior figure at the heart of it, that really did suffer and unalive, for the cult. And so you would have to make a really solid. You'd have to have really good. Sorry, I'm trying to use better words here.
No.
You'd have to have better evidence for that. Like you'd have to have strong evidence for that. And so that's where we're starting out with. Like we're not even analyzing evidence yet, right? So just starting out right there, you have pretty weak reason to think Jesus was a historical person in the first place. That can be easily overcome with evidence, though. And then once you start looking at the evidence, you have Paul's letters that don't actually place Jesus on earth, that don't attest to a pre-crucifixion Jesus, and all of the verses that you could say like definitely place him on earth. They're actually vague, and they don't make it clear as to what Paul is meaning there, because both the mythicist and the historicist explanations for the verses, they both work. Like neither of them break, essentially when you apply them to. So if we have a prior likelihood that Jesus is not a historical figure, and then we don't have any evidence that actually moves us in one direction or another, you're stuck with your prior probability, and that's that he's not a historical figure. So until we have solid evidence, and by solid evidence, I don't mean just like an ad hoc assumption that he did exist, or some people like to appeal to this idea that, well, it's a mundane claim to say that some itinerant rabbi existed in the first century. It's like, yes, that's true, but is that really representative of like the Jesus that first appears? Like that we have our earliest evidence identifies, and you'd have to say no.
And here's the thing too, that they often will bring up into that same line of thinking, they will say like, well, most scholars agree that Jesus at least existed as a man, but the claim was never that he was just a man. Now was it? That wasn't the claim anyway. So what are you talking about?
Our earliest record is from Paul, and Paul claims that he's a divine archangel figure that pre-existed all of creation. So yeah, I mean, he immediately comes on the scene highly mythologized.
Right. It's not ever like he was just a dude who walked around and said nice things. That's not the claim. Well, okay, you won. You convinced me I'm now a mythicist. I will say that I do not ever give it to Christian. You know how some people go, well, I'll just give it to them so that we can move along in the argument. If you try to make me do that when I'm talking with a Christian, then that's when I'm not going to give it to you. If you go, well, as a Christian, we can all agree Jesus was a real person, right? And I'll go, no, I don't know that we can. Just to push them a little. Just to make them prove that.
It really kind of depends on the conversation, because like if they're really wanting to argue about the historicity of Christianity in general, then it's definitely on the table. But like if they're stuck on the magical version of Jesus, I do feel like you kind of have to deconstruct that first in order to get to the real argument. But there are sometimes when a Christian will come up and be like, no, we have plenty of evidence that an actual Jesus figure existed. It's like, oh, okay, well, give me the evidence for it. And, they absolutely get cooked at that point on it, because there's literally no evidence for it at all. And I hope somebody has a problem with that and comes up and asks me about that today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's see. Would you rather debate one extremely prepared Christian scholar for 3 hours, or 5 mildly confident YouTube theologians back to back?
Oh man. You know, to be honest, I feel like the most like it really kind of depends on what kind of conversation you want to have. If I were looking to have fun with it, it would definitely be the like 5 YouTube theologians back to back, because like they're always so poor in their argumentation for Christianity. But if you're really looking for like a good intellectually stimulating conversation, the one actual scholar for 3 hours would be great. I one time I was in a debate. It was a conversation I had with Bart Ehrman, and it's actually on my channel. And I did some very basic probing about the evidence for the crucifixion, because like that's one of the things that not only Bart but other people have said, that we have mountains of evidence that he was actually crucified. And so I'm like, well, what evidence
Right.
is there? And he couldn't come up with any evidence at all, other than just an ad hoc justification, or not justification, but an ad
Yeah.
hoc claim that, oh yeah, well, everybody says that he was crucified, so he was crucified. It's like, okay, well, what actual evidence do we have of that? And
Right. Who are these everybody? Anyway, I want to know. Can you give me just one name of the everybody, please?
that would be nice, right?
Right? Just one. Just one would be great. Um, in the back of my Bible, which is filled with tabs, mostly from Justin, but like I have been adding tabs that Christians give me, because sometimes they will point out a contradiction that I didn't know existed, or, something else that I didn't know existed. But in the back of my Bible, I have all my mythicism notes. So when you guys say stuff, I write it down so I can remember, no, that's not what Pliny said, or whatever. Because I will never remember them all. Let's see. Your engineering background clearly shapes how you think. What's one habit from engineering that sneaks into your atheist work and your like debating and so forth?
I would say that it's my rigid adherence to requirements, because the way that I view the Bible is that it's a requirements document for the God, well, the Christian God in particular. And then of course each description of God, like there's Allah, there's the Old Testament God, a version of the Abrahamic God, but every religious belief has like its set of doctrines, and I view those as like requirements. Like, like for instance, just with Christianity, this is just something easy for me to pull out of my butt, I guess. Is you know with God being the triomni God, omnibenevolent, omniscient, omnipotent, and there's also the omnipresence part. But with those three being like requirements, you can easily point out how God does not fulfill those requirements. So, I mean, if you believe in that kind of God, but you also believe in the Bible, then you shouldn't believe in a God, because he violates that. Unless you got to go into like divine command theory, and then there's the
Yeah.
Euthyphro dilemma and all this other stuff that you could really dive into if you really wanted to. But it's just with my engineering background, like I try to stick to the actual, like, well, what does it actually require of this God, and then doing a critical analysis of like the the passages or whatever, and just laying that out for people and being like, well, you see, no, this is where it's broken. This particular part is where it's broken. And so I think that viewing the Bible as like a requirements document, or a set of requirements for this God, I think is probably the strongest thing that I've pulled into it.
I like that. I do. So you obviously have debated and spoken with many Christians on this app, YouTube, and so forth. Is there a Christian that you would really like to debate? And if so, who and what subject are you wanting to debate?
Let's see. Who would I like to debate? Yeah, that's a difficult question. I have to be honest, just because I have debated a lot of people. Like I've debated. I don't know if have you heard of inspiring philosophy?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I debated him one time on the question of the historicity of Jesus, and that went about as well as you could possibly imagine. Um, but let's see who would I debate? You know, I think debating as far as like the TikTok scene, because I've seen a lot of people here on TikTok. I think that I would probably debate um that Big John Steele guy. I was supposed to
Oh
like debate
yeah.
him, and I feel like I don't know if he's necessarily a Philbro kind of person, but he feels kind of like he would get bogged down with
I
like
would say so.
definitions and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, what's a misconception about atheists that still surprises you exist in 2026?
You know, honestly, I don't know if you heard this. This was, I mean, I guess it's not this year necessarily, but it was quite recently that there was I think it was a Gallup poll that came out that said that people would trust a P3DO priest before they would trust an atheist. And it's like,
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy. I think that kind of misconception that atheists are just not trustworthy or something like that, or that the idea that atheists are devoid of morals or they have no moral justification. I feel like that is probably the biggest one that's still sticking around today. That's obviously false, and I try to combat that. Like
I'm
most of my
gonna call
lives,
bullshit on it too. I'm gonna call bullshit on it because if you put a woman, an atheist, up against that man, how many people would actually leave their child alone with the man over the woman atheist?
yeah,
People don't leave their children alone with men very often, and we know why. They're not they don't trust them because they trust a bear first. But
yep,
so yeah, I think if it was a woman, they would think differently. They would go, oh yeah, we're gonna leave it with a woman, even if she is atheist.
yeah.
um wait, would you rather host a show where you can't use any props or anything, your microphone, obviously, or a show where callers aren't allowed to define their terms, which they already do? They don't define their terms, but which one would you rather do?
So a show with no props or a show with
No
no.
props, no whiteboard, no nothing. You can't use anything. You can't do
Okay.
show them a picture. No, anything.
I guess I'd probably
No
rather do a
Bible.
show. Yeah, I'd rather do a show with no props. I feel like I can definitely rattle off. I may not know the exact book Bible book chapter verse of specific things, but like I'm getting to the point where I can readily rattle off like what those things are. So I think that I could probably fare well in that. I think the definitions part is usually pretty important to a conversation because it's like, well, what do you mean by morality, or what do you think? So
Yeah.
I usually try to go to great lengths to get people to define what they mean, just so that we're both working off of the same concept.
Yeah, for sure. You guys, this is a portion of our show where I'm going to go ahead and bring you all up. If you have a question for the Godless Engineer, come on up. The guest box is open. If you're over on YouTube, I'll be checking over there pretty regularly to see if you guys have any questions in chat for him. Just try to put them in all caps for me. My mods will not mute you right now. It helps me see your question better. James, you've been on the show before, but can you just remind everybody your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, Meiji.
Okay, what question did you have for Godless?
I don't have a specific one, but actually I don't remember being on here. Was it a while ago?
I don't know. It just tells me that you were a guest recently.
Okay. It must have been like a month ago or something like that, because I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay. Well, did you have a question today?
I was kind of curious, why are you guys so focused on trying to deconstruct Christianity?
I'm sorry. What? I guess maybe I got distracted. What was the question?
Why are you guys so focused on trying to deconstruct Christianity?
Oh, well, Christian nationalism is harming America. It's going to cause its downfall, and I think that, for instance, like forcing the Ten Commandments in all Texas schools, that's pretty horrible. I think the Ten Commandments are a deplorable set of things to force on children.
First of all, I agree they shouldn't be in public schools. I'm not against that. But that would be deconstructing Christian nationalism. Why Christianity as a whole?
Because it doesn't comport with reality. which Christianity is the philosophical arm that is used by Christian nationalism. So deconstructing Christianity is going to topple Christian nationalism. But I'm not trying to like. We're just trying to point out to people the problems with Christianity so that they can come to grips with those problems. There's multiple ways to resolve that cognitive dissonance. There have been people that just reject the information outright and continue living in their delusion, and that's perfectly fine as long as they're not hurting other people. I really don't care. But I do feel like it's incumbent upon me to point out how the Bible and the Christian belief doesn't comport with reality.
Well, again, what percent of the Christians worldwide do you think are Christian nationalists?
I don't see how that matters for deconstructing Christianity. I mean, the main concern here in America is Christian nationalism. You know, I would say right now that's a pretty big focus. But I mean, I've been doing this since 2012 when people were less concerned with Christian nationalism. They should have been more concerned with it. But I've focusing on deconstructing Christianity, or technically it's deconstructing Abrahamic faith in general, right?
So, okay, so Christianity in America. By America, do you mean the United States?
Well, yeah, sorry. Yes, the United States of America is what I'm talking about.
Because even Latin American countries are far more Christian than us.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree to that. I'm not exactly sure about, like, I know Mexico is pretty religious, and several other South American ones are. But I mean, still, point stands. Like, while my concern here in the United States of America is Christian nationalism, its effect on our country, at the core of it, it is still like a Christian theological doctrine that I'm looking to deconstruct for people.
Yeah, I mean Mexico's like 80% Catholic now.
Okay, still, it doesn't. I don't understand why you're latching on to the Christian nationalist part and like having that be like a main issue. Like, if only 1% of all Christians were Christian nationalists, then I shouldn't be deconstructing Christianity. Like, that doesn't make sense.
And there's extremists in every religion, right? Like there's extremists in Islam, but that doesn't make it false.
No. It's the facts or the supposed facts that are contained in the doctrine that make it false.
Like, is there something specifically?
Well, yeah, like I was talking before about how God is claimed to be omnibenevolent, but then, he both actively takes part in grape, and then he also commands grape at certain points, and then he also instantiates a system that endorses, supports, and allows grape to happen.
Okay, hey, hang on 1 second before you say anything else, James. Just so you guys know, normally Decon Q&A is a chance for people to come up and talk to my guests about what they do in the community, what projects they have coming up, maybe how they deconstructed or whatever. I'm allowing this right now because we don't have any other guests in the box. But if you do want to come up and talk to Godless Engineer and ask him questions about engineering, about atheism, about his deconstruction, the guest box is open for non-believers today. We're just allowing this right now. But if Godless doesn't want to continue, he doesn't have to either. That's up to him. But otherwise, you guys can go ahead.
I mean, I'm good with it. James, are you a Christian yourself?
Okay.
I'm Catholic, yeah, part of the One Holy Catholic Apostolic Church.
Oh no, why would you be Catholic? That's a P3DO ring.
What? For one, it's part of my culture, obviously.
That doesn't change the fact that the Catholic Church criminal organization regularly circulates P3DOs throughout all of their churches all over the world. Like that, it doesn't change that fact.
First of all, obviously there's been bad stuff with priests that have happened, obviously. And they're committing a deep mortal sin. They're committing one of the worst sins any human could commit, right?
Oh, are they? Are they? Because I don't think that your Bible says that. Your Bible actually allows it, and even has God condoning it and actively taking part in it.
The Catechism, which is like one of the things for the Catholic Church, explicitly condemns abuse, any type of abuse, specifically towards children, as one of the worst sins that a human could commit.
Then, okay, if that's true, then why does God do it? Why does God do it? Why does God do it, James?
If you're referring to stuff in the Old Testament, that's taken out of
context. I'm referring to stuff in the New Testament, so we can deal with the New Testament. Why
And
does
then,
God actively take part in child grape?
where does he do that in the New Testament?
Luke 1.
Are you referring to Are you referring to the incarnation?
The incarnation. You're talking about when God grapes Mary. Actually, it was actually God and Gabriel spirit roasted Mary.
First of all, grape is defined as the unconsensual, unwanted act of intercourse forced on someone.
Hey,
Right?
James,
how
children
about
can't consent.
How do you know
right?
she
So
was a child?
right.
Because of Jewish culture?
We know.
Yeah.
How do we know that she
Yes.
was a child?
Well, there's the I believe it's like the Gospel of James. It's a later apocryphal gospel,
There's
but
no Gospel of James. There's the Epistle of
it's a
James.
no. That's you're thinking only the canonized stuff that they put in the book. You're not thinking about all of the documentation that exists outside of the Bible. So this is an apocryphal gospel that wasn't worked into the actual canon of the text of the Bible that you have. It admits that she was around 12 and a half years old, but we also have Victor P. Hamilton in the Anchor Bible Dictionary that lays out from the Talmud how marriages were conducted at that time, what ages people were, and typically girls were married off around 12 and a half to 13 years old. So we actually seed some ground for y'all in saying that she was right around 14 years old. But even if we go to the max of like 16 at this time, that's still a child. And that's still God graping a child.
And on top of that, nobody can consent to a God. Okay, let's be very clear of that. A human being cannot consent to a God. The power dynamic there is so imbalanced. Well, it's ungodly how
She
imbalanced
still said
it is.
yes.
So let's be realistic.
No, she didn't.
No, you can't say yes to a God. You cannot, because your yes doesn't mean shit. Because you can't say no.
Well, that's
So
why
of course you're going to say yes. It's a God.
there's so
That's not consent. Consent, it cannot have a power imbalance, James.
well, I obviously love our Mother Mary. She's appeared to Saint Juan Diego. She's appeared in Lourdes. She's appeared
Yeah,
everywhere.
she hasn't done
she hasn't.
anything. And why would that be a miracle?
She appeared
Why
to
why do I want Mary to appear anywhere? I want the starving children fed, sir. I want kids to stop dying of
I
cancer,
want that
sir.
too.
I don't want your Mother Mary to appear on toast and in my cat's poo. I don't want that.
I want all
want
that stuff
the Mother
too.
Mary to stop doing stupid stuff and start doing actual miracles, like grow back limbs for our vets and stuff. How about that?
She actually has done healing miracles for many. And
That's not a healing miracle.
Our
if
Lady,
it can be
Our Lady
done.
of Lourdes. Obviously Lourdes is in France. Marian apparition. People go there, and there's been and they have scientists there and stuff, right?
Oh, hey, James. So there is this one miracle that I'd like to see if you know anything about. It happened over in India. There was this statue of Mary in this church, and one day it just started crying, and it started to be venerated, as this divinely crying statue of Mary. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, that turned out to be false because there was some water leak or something behind it, so that's not a miracle.
Oh yeah, exactly. It was shitter water. So like they were, all these people were drinking water out of a toilet. And but my point is that that's pretty much how all.
How does that disprove every
Yeah,
miracle?
like what's the what's the relevance?
Excuse me, you don't do that. That's not how we run my show, Marcus. Well, if you want to learn some patience from your Holy Spirit and try again in a minute, you can come back up. But we do not interrupt people and talk over people, and we certainly don't talk before we are introduced. But you can try again in a few minutes. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Continue your conversation.
No problem.
Well, yeah. So my point in bringing that up is that that's just a typological example of how these miracle claims fall apart, right? Once you actually scrutinize them, it turns out to be like a leaky toilet or, one thing or another. There's actually no verified miracles that have ever actually happened.
So for example, at Lourdes, right, there's been tons of claimants of miracles, right? The church has approved very few of them. So obviously there's stuff the church, first of all, never even approved that as a miracle. But the beautiful thing is, even if you could theoretically disprove every single one, which I don't think is possible, it still would not affect the validity of the religion because it's not dogma.
Yeah. So James, I can guarantee you right now if you give me a miracle, I can type in to Google and just get several different sites that debunk whatever that miracle is and explain it because they've done the scrutiny about it. So if you want to give me a miracle, I can explain to you how it's not actually a miracle.
Oh, there are so many miracles.
Oh, well, you should be easy for you to pick
Start-
one.
Here, can I tell you something? Here's what I don't like is the miracles stop wherever science stops. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys don't really have miracles. You attribute
I can give scientific-
shit
sorry.
and call. Excuse me, I was talking. Don't interrupt. Okay, you guys attribute everyday shit and call it a miracle, and it's just not okay. But what you don't do is you don't ever do something that is really a miracle. We never see somebody grow a limb back. We never see somebody have complete medical records documenting the entire time that the miracle is processed. You don't see a miracle where there's immediate, unexplained 100% healing. It's, well, after going to doctors or after this or after. The kid who you guys actually made a saint, he died of cancer after you guys said he cured everybody of cancer. That is crazy.
Wait, I can actually give you
crazy.
miracles with scientific backing.
No, you can't.
Yeah, Buenos Aires.
No, you can't.
In the 90s.
Okay, stop.
The
Do
Eucharistic
one.
miracle.
Just do one at a time, and I'll let Godless Engineer explain to you why it's not a miracle.
Look at the Buenos Aires miracle, right? In the 90s.
Buenos Aires miracle. What was the miracle about?
It's the Eucharistic miracle. The most holy Eucharist, the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ, blood. There were even white blood cells that were verified living. By the way, scientists tested this. This was scientifically tested. There's so many Eucharistic
hold on.
miracles.
Okay, James. So it's the Eucharistic miracle in Brazil?
No, Buenos Aires is not in Brazil.
Oh, so I'm so sorry. No, I just misremembered. Buenos Aires, right?
Yeah, correct.
Marcus,
Okay,
I see you in the box. I'll bring you up in a minute, but I'm not going to bring you up while James is up here because you cannot seem to handle yourself. I'm letting Godless Engineer talk because he's the special guest today, Pumpkin. Monday through Friday, I do my own conversations if you ever want to join me there. But today, Marcus, is Decon Q&A with CrystalJae, and Godless Engineer is my special guest today. That's why he is answering the questions today, just since you don't know how the show works. I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue, guys.
Yeah,
Right.
so if I could give some background. So basically what happened is they found some hosts in the back of the church, right? And the standard procedure is to put obviously, because we have deep reverence for the Eucharist, we put it in the tabernacle, right, with a glass of water, and we put the host in there. They typically dissolve in like a day. Like it's quite standard, right? It was in there for, I believe, almost 2 weeks. And
Okay.
not only did they not dissolve, there was visible blood on the host, visible bleeding, and white blood cells. So it was sent. Actually, it was Pope Francis at the time who was the archbishop there because he's Argentinian, right?
Okay. You want me to explain why that's not a real miracle?
You can explain why you think that, yeah.
Okay, so there's actually a lot of different converging lines of evidence that show us that that's not actually a miracle and that there's a lot of problems with the claims of this. So there's a broken chain of custody. This story that you're talking about goes that this discarded host was placed in a glass of water inside the tabernacle, and days later it had transformed into bloody tissue. The sample had set uncontrolled for years before any scientific testing was done. The host was found in August of 96, but the samples weren't sent in for analysis until 99, and that was over 3 years later. So during that time, there was no controlled environment. There was no sealed evidence container. There was no independent oversight of the samples. Anyone could have just tampered with it or substituted the contents of it. Next line is there was no blind testing. So Dr. Stacy Trestant, I can't pronounce her last name. Sorry, their last name. They're a devout Catholic chemist with a master's in theology and was particularly critical of how the investigation was conducted. The forensic pathologist, Dr. Frederick Zugibe, was someone in the church. Some of the church authorities had already worked with on miracle investigations, and his lab work was televised and made into a documentary. This is the opposite of rigorous science. A proper blind study would have involved multiple independent labs receiving unlabeled samples with no knowledge of the sources or the stakes involved. So, I mean, I could keep going. Like, there's one, so just the titles of these sections that thoroughly disprove you is the fungal and bacterial contamination explanation. The DNA problem actually undermines the initial claim of it. The AB blood type claim is incredibly weak. The investigator was not independent. The parish itself won't call it a miracle. There's no and there's no independent replication of this particular fact, which is probably just due to the fact that it's supposedly a miracle, which is, arbitrary events that happen for what seems to be no reason. So
Okay, I will respond, but then I actually want this is one I really want to talk about. All right. Okay. So a couple things.
Let's talk about magic. That's the interesting conversation.
Magic. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I suppose.
Discern. No, hold on. Before we begin, discern between magic.
Hang on 1 second, you guys. I just want to say something for chat again, really quick. Marcus, you can come back on 20 million accounts. I'll mute them all if you keep using caps in my chat. But it's okay. Godless literally said, "You tell me a miracle, and I will Google it to debunk it." If you don't like that, that's what they agreed to. Get the fuck out. Just scroll on by. Shut up. That's what they agreed to. Listen to the conversation instead of just fighting in chat. It's weird, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
Sorry. This is one, since I don't remember everything because it's been a while since I've looked into it, right? So I'm not gonna say this is 100% true because since I can't even remember the name of the condition, but I did quite deep research into it, right? And it was this miracle at Lourdes. Are you familiar with Lourdes, by the way?
The miracle at Lourdes.
Are you familiar with Lourdes, friends?
Wait, did you
Lourdes?
just? I don't feel like we finished the previous topic about the Buenos Aires miracle.
Yeah,
you want to go back to them?
No, I don't know. Yeah, someone brought that. That's why I came up. Someone brought up that Buenos Aires miracle to me the other day, and I looked into it, and Godless Engineer had it totally under control. There's no scientific study that was published. Some guys just looked at it and was like, "Yep, that's left ventricle tissue. I'm not going to publish any study on it, though." And he already mentioned the problem with the no chain of custody being established.
Yeah, so a couple things. How could you possibly tamper and put living white blood cells on a host?
You can't figure out a way to do that. I think you're lacking imagination.
How would you do it?
Do you know?
Also, white
do you know
blood
about
cells do
laboratory?
not.
Hold up. Do you know about laboratory contamination? So, like, you're saying that they're living white blood cells. Okay, even if we give you that, it could have easily come about in whatever other way, like through contamination. Like,
Do you
it
know
could
how
just be.
long? Sorry.
I was just saying it could just be contamination. They could have just been contaminated with white blood cells.
Do you know how long white blood cells live for outside?
That doesn't matter. I'm saying that, like,
matter.
before testing, like, somebody, like, they could have, I don't know how white blood cells would have gotten on there, but the laboratory contamination thing is a well-known thing that people account for when they're actually doing science, but you're still not even you're citing this whole white blood cell thing, but you're not even pointing out the fact that it was found in 96, right? And it wasn't tested. No testing until 3 years later. It was kept in an uncontrolled space and environmentally uncontrolled as well too. And there was no independent oversight of it. So, like, literally anything could have happened.
Sir, how long do white cells live for outside the body?
Good to see you.
I feel like I feel like that just simply doesn't matter in this situation.
It absolutely doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. But so you're loading up your.
It doesn't matter because it's uncontrolled. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter that stuff. There's living white blood cells. How long do they live for outside of the body?
So what you're doing right now with that question is you've loaded up. That's called a loaded question right there, because your question depends on this whole idea that there were white blood cells in 96 that stayed there, stayed living all the way 3 years later when they were tested in 99. And you're also loading up the question with this trustworthiness of how they were stored and who tested them. So you have a lot of loaded aspects to your question here.
No, sir, it's not. It's less than minutes. They barely survive outside of the bodies.
Okay, that
Like-
still
Did
doesn't matter.
anybody independently prove that that's what happened? No. So your point is moot, right? Because nobody else got to independently prove that.
How so? Wait, so how does that make it? Because there were only a couple of people who looked into it. How does that make it
Can you
unvalid?
prove there were white blood cells, sir?
Based off of what they said in the research they did, yes. You can go look up what they've
Who
said
did
about
the
it.
research, sir?
I don't know the name of the doctor off the top of my head.
Yeah, even though I said it is Dr. Frederick Zugiber. He was a forensic pathologist. And that's part of the whole no blind testing thing. So like when they didn't even send them in and do proper scientific testing on this, a real scientific test would have included blind testing so that you could actually show that this was the magical blood cells that you think they are. Also, but
That's
what
I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. But we still haven't discerned between magic and miracle at this point. And I'm wondering if you can. I haven't heard anybody be able to actually do that in a coherent fashion.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, so I describe magic as being some thinking agent that arbitrarily suspends the natural order of reality to affect some kind of change that's outside of the nature of reality. And so I'm just wondering how you can discern that from God.
So in a sense, I suppose it's not ridiculous to say it's quote unquote magic, but
Okay, so God does magic then. We're sitting here debating about magical white blood cells.
the white blood cells are magical the means that they got there.
If they have to be magical if the white blood cells, per your conclusion, not my conclusion, but per your conclusion, if the white blood cells only survive for mere minutes outside of the body, and they were found living on the test samples, which were sent 3 years after they were discovered, after the samples were discovered or whatnot, sent off for testing, then it's kind of interesting how you say that they're not magical.
Okay, but I guess in that sense you could say it is, yeah.
Okay, cool. So right now we're having a debate over whether these white blood cells that we can't actually verify were actually there or anything like that, and were done in a shady scientific test, are magic. Like we're
Well, that's your
debating the
opinion.
mag. Huh?
That's your opinion. That's your opinion about the scientific
Here's
test.
the other thing I really want to point out, and that I just can't ever get them to explain to me. What did this do? Even if it were a miracle, whose lives were changed? Where is the cancer cured? Where is the starving stopped? Like, it didn't do anything. It was pointless. It's nothing. If this is a miracle, this is stupid.
Bringing people to feel the love of God is not stupid, man.
It is. I don't feel the love from God. I feel infuriated. Like, that's the best you got, Yahweh.
Well,
That's
you.
your big miracle.
Well,
How pointless.
Well, he loves you and he wants a relationship with you.
He doesn't exist, and he doesn't want a relationship with you either. He never asked you for one. It doesn't say that anywhere in the book. Nobody said, I want a personal relationship. He wanted an entire people group to bow to him. That's what he wanted.
You're talking
Not
about
you, not one person, not a personal relationship. He never said, I want to personally love you. He said, I want Israel. I want them to be my people.
Yeah, those were the chosen people at the time, yeah.
Well,
That's all he ever wanted.
You say God loves us, but we totally blew past the whole God took part in rape. And I don't care how much this God supposedly loves me, if he's going around either raping people or specifically children, raping children, or setting up systems that allow, endorse, and facilitate rape. I really don't care if he loves me.
None of that is true.
No,
You're
yeah,
twisting
but
it.
you didn't actually follow the entire argument there about God graping Mary. Do you want to return to that? Maybe you'll have better luck instead of arguing magic.
Yeah, first of all, it was an argument from silence to say that she was 14. It's not
No, it's not an
really.
argument from silence to say that she's 14. We have well documented, um, texts like the Talmud that demonstrate that girls were married off about 12 and a half years old. Like that was normal practice. In order to say that she was the outlier and that she was much older, you would actually have the burden of proof there. I had the burden of proof. I established my evidence that shows that it was that way in two different independent ways. One, the Talmud, two, the Gospel of James. I believe is
The
the
Gospel of James was written years later.
right, exactly.
Like,
And
like
it
far
says that
later
she
than
was
the
12
other
and a half
Gospel.
years old.
It was eyewitnesses wouldn't have even been alive at that time. So it's a horrible argument.
They
How
weren't
would they
alive
know?
when any of your books were discovered. So
No,
Mark
but it
eyewitnesses would have been
no
alive.
but that piece of evidence shows that they understood, like even years later, many years later, how old she was, and they had no problem with it, right? So this was not a problem for the culture at that time, but if God was omniscient, he would know that that's a problem, him approaching a 12 and a half year old girl. Let me ask you this there, James. Let me
It's an
put you
argument from silence.
let me put you in a hypothetical here. Do you mind?
Sure.
Okay, let's say you're walking down a dark alley, right? And you're walking down this dark alley and you see a 14-year-old child in a corner. And you approach that 14-year-old child and you look her dead in the face and you go, I will impregnate you. You will have my child. And she acquiesces to it. She allows it to happen because she knows that if she says no or she resists, there's a possibility that she could be unalive or seriously hurt, right? So she acquiesces to it. She allows you to do whatever you're going to do to her, impregnate her, right? Is that grape?
Of course, and the fact that you're comparing that to the story of the Most Blessed Mother is insane.
How is it different? Can you please show
It's
me how is
completely
it different?
First of all, there was no schmex. There was no intercourse. So that's a
I'm glad that
horrible
we got back
it
to
analogy.
this
doesn't
point.
say that.
Second of
First of
all-
all, it doesn't say that at all. It doesn't
Can-
say
can I-
that at all.
So how would that work? Would the Father come down from heaven, take on
I don't
human
know. How
form,
did the
and not the
Nephilim
Son?
do it? How did the Nephilim do it? James, think for a minute.
It's called
Also,
a
I'm going to tell you something. Mary
miracle.
tells you herself that she did not give consent when she tells you that she was a slave to the Lord. A slave doesn't give consent. A slave is forced
We're all
to do
slaves.
all their labor.
I'm a slave to the
No,
Lord.
no, you are not. No, you are not.
It
And
says
she
that.
says it afterwards. She says, "Here I am, the servant of the Lord." That translated into the Greek is slave. Here I am, the slave of the Lord.
I am too. I'm a slave of the Lord.
Well, right.
No,
Do
so
slaves?
you don't have consent.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Do
make
slaves
any
have the
She
sense.
didn't
ability?
either.
Everyone's
So
a slave to the Lord.
right. But considering that you consider yourself a slave to the Lord, do you have the ability to say no to God?
Do I have the ability? Yes, I could theoretically say no, but that's obviously completely unwise. And why would you do that?
Exactly. Apply that to the Mary situation. It would be unwise for her to do it. Do you know about the story of Jonah?
Yeah, with the will and stuff.
Right. Do you know why he ended up in the whale?
It's been years, honestly. I've mostly been studying the New Testament in late times.
Okay, well, I mean, Jonah's pretty. The Jonah story is pretty important to the Jesus story, so I'd definitely, brush up on that particular part, because that's the one miracle that I believe it's in either Matthew or Luke. He's like, I can't do any miracles except for this one miracle, the miracle of Jonah. So Jonah's pretty important to the Jesus story. Now, Jonah denied God's command for him to go to Nineveh, if I remember correctly, and preach the good word of the genocidal God, right? And so what happened was he was on a ship and God attacked it with waves and everything. He was basically a waterbender, and Jonah got swallowed up by a whale, and then he was forced to go to Nineveh anyways, right? So applying that logic there to the Mary situation, if Mary had said no to God, considering the story of Jonah, what do you think would have happened to her?
First of all, Jonah was a sinner. Mary was sinless. She was conceived without sin.
Oh my God, you're
You don't
focusing
have
on the
any proof
totally
of that
wrong
either.
fucking parts.
Yeah, I did. I'm immaculate
You can't.
conception. I do have proof that Mary was conceived
You
without
cannot
sin.
have proof. You do not have proof about that in the scripture. That's
She had
another
no
another
sin.
thing. Your little church leaders went. We're gonna make another
It's
little
not.
story up that you'll believe.
It's not.
This
But
is a
you
red
know,
herring.
That's
there
not.
are
It's.
other people waiting to talk
Are
to
there?
the
Thank
Godless
God.
Engineer.
Wait, I just want to say one
And
thing.
so I'm gonna bring up some other people, and
No,
then
can I say one more
we're
thing?
gonna move along. But no, can you wait? I'm talking right now. I'm the host, okay? If you are a non-believer, actually today is for you. It's a time to come up and ask the Godless Engineer all your questions about engineering, about atheism, about the line, whatever you want to talk to him about. But I will bring up other people right now, and you can say your final
Viva
thing,
Cristo
James,
Rey, la
before you
Virgen de
leave.
Guadalupe.
Wait, did
Okay,
you just
and
curse us?
Viva Cristo
yeah,
Rey,
if
la
you think
Virgen de
so.
Guadalupe.
Okay,
May
pumpkin,
Christ,
whatever.
may Christ go elbow deep in your butt? Is that what I just heard? I feel like you
Viva
just said.
Cristo Rey, la
Sana,
Virgen de
sana
Guadalupe.
colita de rana, si no sana hoy, sanarás mañana. Váyase con Dios.
¿Cómo estás?
Well, I tried to bring Marcus up, but he got too mad and he finally left. I guess I'll try his other account. He had several, but I think they all left because I wouldn't bring him up when he wanted to interrupt you earlier. So we'll bring his up. His is going to have a lot to say too, I'm sure. His, welcome to the show. What question did you have for Godless Engineer today?
Hey guys, what's going on?
What up?
Happy Sunday. Yeah, I heard Godless bring up Jonah, and I wanted to ask him if you know the symbolism and the meaning behind the story, and as to why Christ said, "Surely the last sign was Jonah."
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can educate me on it. What,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Christ even said, "I have authority to raise it back up again." He even told the Pharisees, "The Son of Man will be crucified, and in 3 days, I will raise it back up." So Jonah, right? 3 days, he experienced wrath. He experienced wrath from God due to disobedience. But this is the symbolism in it. Christ did not deserve wrath, but he bore it anyway. He became a curse for us. There's also other symbolism in it, which I love to see, because it keeps me in check. Jonah's disobedience affected the other people in the boat. So let's say let's say if I'm married, for instance, right? And I have children, and I'm disobeying the Lord, that is single-handedly going to affect me, my wife, my children, let's say my job, my church family, because I'm in disobedience.
Oh no, not disobedience.
They put so much guilt and shame on you guys.
No.
I hate it.
There's no
you know
shame
how
or
bad
guilt
that
or
is for your health,
condemnation
by the
in
way?
Christ.
Oh,
Romans 8.
so bad for
There's
your
no
health.
condemnation. I'm saying that as a
yes,
reverence.
there is. You have so much condemnation. I've heard you speak many times. You do. Trust me.
Which
You have shame and guilt that you are just not addressing.
So which scripture says that people in Christ are condemned?
People
That's not
in
what I'm
Christ are
saying.
condemned? Okay.
Yeah, what do you mean
You guys
shame?
condemn each other and you shame each other and you shame yourselves all the time.
I don't
hear
think
it
my
day
church
in
does.
and
We're
day
not
out.
legalistic.
You do. I've listened to you.
Which church do I go to, ma'am?
So
I didn't say what church you went to. You personally condemn people. God damn, you don't listen, you don't listen to what people are actually saying. You listen so you can get your next point in instead of actually listening to have a conversation. Real quick, I want to ask Godless a question because there's a question for him in chat. Godless, Karen Ann wants to know, what type of engineer are you?
Oh yeah, so I got my first engineering degree was in computer engineering, and then I got one in software engineering. So I'm a computer and software engineer.
That's very cool, man.
That's
but
really
unfortunately,
cool.
that will not help you discussing church history and archæology.
Shut up. He was answering a question for somebody in the audience.
I'm sorry.
Are you
Who told me to shut up?
Are you well?
Yeah,
is somebody else listening that I'm not aware of? Who's told me to shut up?
Why?
Somebody
else told you to shut up. What's the problem?
No, that's fine. I just wasn't aware there was another person.
I mean, yeah, I have a wife.
I have a husband too. He listens too. Are you okay with that? People hear us.
Yeah, I was just thrown off. I just wasn't aware.
Okay. Well, you know,
Well, he's
his
answering a question for somebody in chat, and I asked him to, so that's why he's answering the question. Okay, don't be rude to my guests.
Yeah, so I'd love to discuss anything 300 AD and prior. So
okay. Well, so first of all, like I have no need to appease your God, like whatsoever, and I don't like for a rapist, genocidal maniac. Like I really don't care if I'm making him mad, and in fact, if I wasn't making him mad, then I would be doing something wrong.
So what you're saying, just not transparently, is I'm not knowledgeable on the topic,
No,
and I
I
don't
am
want to
very
discuss
knowledgeable on the
this.
topic.
So I'm going to practice my free will and paint God in an image he's not.
That's called a straw man, Pumpkin. Do you know what a straw man is?
If I take scenes of Superman's justice, I can paint him in an evil image.
How
You
does
don't
that
get to
track
sum up
to?
what
That's a red
somebody
herring.
else thinks.
If you can say the first 3 verses of Genesis, I'll take this conversation seriously. Since you claim to be an ex-minister critically.
Shut the fuck up.
What? I don't. Why does
I never
This is
claimed
just
to be
for
an
bullying
ex-minister.
purposes.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you said you went to seminary.
So
I never said
well,
I went to seminary. Wait a minute. Listen to me. I have never said I went to seminary. Never.
So I'm just lying.
You are stoned. You are stoned.
You
dude.
said you're a
I have
Christian
never
for
said that.
decades.
I was a Christian for decades. That is a
Yeah,
true
and a
statement.
minister, ordained, or you went to
I
theology
never said I was
seminary school.
ordained. I never
Yeah.
said that. I've never made that claim. No, I haven't.
Yeah, it was on Me's live.
No, I haven't.
So
What?
it was on Me's live
What?
as well. So
I don't go on Me's live.
can I speak to Godless?
No, nope. You're gonna address
That's
your fucking
rude.
lies about me now.
You know,
That is weird because I don't go on Me's live. So you're wrong. You're wrong.
yeah,
And
maybe
I
not
never
anymore.
said I was ordained. I never said that I was a minister. So you want to just lie about me? You need to
Okay.
either apologize right now or leave my fucking show.
Whatever floats your boat. So
Apologize to me now.
I'm not
for lying about
apologizing
me.
for speaking truth now.
Then you're a liar. Get off my show. I'm so sorry, but I don't like when people lie about me. I have never made claims about me that are not true. And I have never, ever said that I went to theology school. I never said I was a minister. I know what I was, and I'm not going to repeat what I did say I was. I was a Christian for 40 years, and I was very involved in the church. But I never said I was a minister. I never said I went to school or anything like. I've said so many times that I don't even have a college degree.
It amazes me how they place arbitrary requirements on like interacting with them. That's how they just want an excuse to like run from the conversation, because it's like recite the first 3 verses of this book and then I'll take you seriously. It's like I don't have to know those in order to have this conversation with you. That's just arbitrary requirements on your end.
It's very arbitrary. On top of it, what I do have is ADHD, and I don't memorize Bible verses anymore because I don't feel like there's a God making me do that. I just look them up when I need them, so I don't memorize them. I do tab my Bible so I can find them quickly, though, but I just don't memorize them anymore, and I don't care to, and I'm never going to again because I don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, as a consequence of using them so much, I do have some of them like paraphrasingly like committed to memory. But like, yeah, I don't think that you've got to be able to like instantly like pull out, some kind of like Bible verse, but or some kind of verse from the Bible, and that's somehow indicative of your knowledge of the Bible. Like that's just ridiculous.
It's also ableism, and I don't expect it from Christians anymore either. Like I think I used to say stuff like that, but I realized that was such bullshit because I didn't even have every thing memorized. So why I expect it of other Christians when I'm out here talking to them, I've corrected myself. I think I used to kind of make fun of them a little bit and be like, oh, you don't even know that verse. You know what I mean? But hey, Mezzo Raiders, welcome in. You guys, welcome in. I hope you had fun watching Mezzo. We need people to come up, ask Godless engineer your questions, and hopefully we get non-believers up here to talk to him about himself, because today is about him. And instead we got a bunch of believers up here who wanted to talk about how the Holy Mother Mary cried tears that people drank and found out it was poop. That's what we were talking about instead. Did I sum that up pretty well?
Yep, it was shitter water, so you know.
Welcome in unapologetic raiders too. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was really special, Schley. Welcome in Muzzle Raiders over on the YouTubes too. If you can, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm getting close to that 1,000 mark. I think I'm somewhere at 850 or something. And every time like you guys gift the show or tip or anything like that, we're gonna upgrade the equipment, make it so that have a better presence over on YouTube. And I can have I could be all fancy and have the multiple screens so I could see when people are gifting, because I can't see all that right now. I'm sorry. I'm so old fashioned. I'm on a walkie-talkie, you guys. This is CB radio, and you don't even know. Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Crystal?
Doing well. Welcome to the show. What did you want to ask Godless today?
Well, I just had a comment. Somebody said that we are all godless. And my take on it, I don't know if this is a specific live about Christianity, but everything is being sucked towards a giant black hole. And when it all goes in there, all the particles, mass, energy, light, all of it, it's compressed, and that hole is God. Then it vibrates, and then it has another big bang, and it's all atomized. But every single atom and particle is a piece of the whole. That's how God's omniscient, omnipresent, because everything is God. God is everything. It's not the big guy with a beard in the sky, but we're all pieces of the same whole. And once people realize that and stop using things to divide us, they understand that understanding and appreciating other people's perspective gives you more understanding. When you're limited to your own perspective, you have just a limited amount of information. When you separate yourself from things that are different from you, you're capping your potential. So you have to be open to other people, their experiences, their realities, without like whoever that last guest was. You have to listen to understand and to communicate. When you do that, people will come together, and that's when we'll realize that that's how it's supposed to be. This division and all of this fighting, and it's all just, it's insanity. It's unhealthy, and that's why we're all going crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel the need to push back against beliefs that don't comport with reality. And I think that people can be, can find meaning and purpose and everything like that without some kind of God concept to, appeal to. I think that that's probably the
I don't disagree. I think a lot of people fall back on religion as a means to not do personal inner work and grow as a person.
Mm-hmm.
They follow the things that the Bible says, or most people, honestly, most Christians don't even read the Bible. They follow what their preacher says. Yeah. And that's so dangerous. And that's the problem with organized religions, is that it's a blind faith. And that's how you control people. That's how you get people to be hateful and spiteful towards one another. And, it's just stupid. All of society makes me crazy, but,
No, I totally sympathize with that. I agree.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys have a good day. Thanks for letting me hop on.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up. We appreciate you, Karen.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
You guys, if you have a question for Godless and you're too shy to come up, you have a really crappy mic system, you have the Holy Spirit Wi-Fi that doesn't connect right, you can also ask your questions in chat, and I'll read them out to Godless. So if you're just joining us over on YouTube on either the Deconstruction Junction or on my channel, please put it all in caps. It makes it easier for me to see because I'm old and feeble, okay? Hey, Jaron, welcome in. Lade, welcome in. Eddie, hi, how are you? If you guys have questions, come on up. The guest box is open. If not, I'm going to keep asking him questions because I've got a million myself. So, what was the beginning of your downfall into this heathen debauchery that you now live in? What started your deconstruction?
Well, I've told this story before, and but I feel like it's I guess maybe pretty typical. Like so I had a friend, that I confided in that I was kind of struggling with believing in God or struggling with faith in general and everything. And I was actually playing on a softball team at the time, church softball. And, I told him about that. And he was like, well, look, if you don't believe in the Bible from cover to cover, then you're not really a Christian. And, I understand that now, as like a no true Scotsman type fallacy. And it really shouldn't have like caused me to feel a certain way about it. But it did cause me to like critically examine my beliefs and ultimately deconstruct from those beliefs. Because like once he said that, I'm like, well, shoot, I'm not a Christian, I guess, because I don't believe in the flood. Like I don't believe in all these magical things in the Bible and everything. I still maintained that I believed in God, but I just didn't believe in those magical things. And so I started, looking into, it, doing a lot of introspection, watching debates, between prominent atheist scholars and philosophers and everything like that. And really kind of weighing both sides of it until I finally came to the conclusion that I just didn't believe anymore. And it was the biggest hurdle for me was actually admitting that I no longer believed in a God. Coming from North Alabama, like I've lived in either North Alabama. I spent like 6 months living in Mobile when I was a child, but I've spent most of my life in North Alabama. I've only ever lived here, and so like God is just sort of part of like the culture here. Like everybody believes in God, and it was never discussed the whole idea that God possibly couldn't exist and everything like that. So yeah, I just I was confronted with something, and that caused me to look in deeper into what I believed and why I believed it. That's why whenever somebody comes up and like tries to either paint all atheists as having some kind of like really weak reason for like not believing in God or whatever, I usually specify like that's not the reason why they don't believe, more than likely. But also, I don't think that there's any bad reason to start like to start the deconstruction process or to reevaluate what you believe and why you believe it. Like, even if it was like the whole quote unquote church hurt, like you're hurt by the church and that causes you to like reconsider your beliefs and everything like that. If the beliefs are true, they're going to be able to survive that reconsideration. But if they're not, then you probably shouldn't believe in them.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because I really believed a lot like your friend, like about the whole, and it was because of Ken Ham. So speaking of the the ARC experience or whatever it's called, it was because of him that I believed that way. Like we went through the whole Ken Ham thing, and I really fell for all of his bullshit. Okay, as a Christian, and so he said something as a Christian that really stuck with me, but it would be probably one of the biggest downfalls of like biggest thing to deconstruct me later was he said, if the stories in Genesis are not true, then the foundation for the entire religion is not true. And so if the foundation isn't true, then why believe any of it? And so that's what I thought as a Christian. But then that's what I thought when I started to deconstruct. I was like, wait, I'm starting to not believe any of those stories in Genesis. So he's right. Why am I believing any of it? What is holding me into this? I didn't understand indoctrination, of course. I didn't really understand even until recently that Christianity is a cult, that's what it is, like, because you're always taught it's not a cult, it's a religion. Everything else is a cult. Okay. It is the one true thing. Everything else is a cult. And so, yeah, so I have to thank Ken Ham for my deconstruction.
I'm sure Ken Ham hates that, but uh,
I don't think
I
he
don't know.
stays the night thinking about it, though.
When I was a Christian, like I was always kind of like I really kept my faith private to me. Like anytime that I publicly talked about it or I publicly engaged in it, I always felt off. Like I don't know if anybody else really felt that way, and maybe I was like one of those like what they call lukewarm Christians or whatnot. But like I believed in it, but it's like I didn't want to tell people that I believed in it, like unless it was like a church
Oh,
event or
wow.
something like that. Like I really just was uncomfortable like discussing that with other people. And I wonder if like deep down, like my analytical side of my brain that knows that this doesn't make sense, but like I'm forcing myself to make it make sense. Like I just wonder if deep down, like I was genuinely like, yeah, this seems sus, but I'm going to continue to believe it anyways.
Recently I was doing, I do these things called anti sermons in my show. And it's
Yeah, I
where
heard
I'm
one of those.
taking every group. You have? Okay. So during one of them, I studied the effects of cognitive dissonance on our brain and stuff. And holy cow, like no wonder, like it does a lot. It causes depression, anxiety. It can cause anger that leads to violence, and I think that I sat in cognitive dissonance a lot. I really did,
Yeah,
from
yeah,
this
that
belief system.
and it's you can always tell how people end up resolving that cognitive dissonance, that feeling that they get, because I mean, typically in this particular environment, it's either they totally disregard it and disregard whatever new information it is, or they rework their theology so that it works with whatever new. So they actively have to change the religion in order to make it match reality for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Yeah, and I always tell people too, I feel like I was deconstructing the religion my whole life. I just didn't know how. Like, you're literally going against the very people you trust the most in the world, right? Your parents, your family, your friends, your community, and your brain is telling them that they are all wrong and you're right, and that seems so narcissistic. So you fight it, and it's very difficult. Um, so once you deconstructed, when I deconstructed, and I talked to Zach Laser Hoffman about this recently, I felt like, okay, I don't believe anymore, but I don't want to take this from somebody else, because what if I'm wrong? And also, like, live and let live. Like, that's what I thought at first when I first was deconstructing, right? And
Mhm.
then eventually I started listening to like Justin and Thinker and Kristen and Carol and just a whole bunch of people. And afterwards, then I obviously realized, like, I kind of want to actually help people deconstruct this. When did that switch for you? Did you immediately want to start doing content about it and help people? Like, how did that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I immediately was like challenging, like, I guess the consensus of North Alabama about God, like, just because I felt like, I don't know if it was like repressed or something like that, but like I felt like I had to like toe this line the entire time of it, like with my behavior and everything is like, oh, this is expected, and so as soon as I broke from that mold, I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to follow along with their expectations anymore. I actually want to like confront them with the uncomfortable side of everything. And so I mean, I guess that's why I have the attitude that I have now. And that's the reason why I'm not afraid to like confront, believers on the harder topics. Cause I feel like, people need, like Christians and people of other Abrahamic faiths, they need to be confronted on the harder aspects of the faith, because I mean, I just think that they need to deal with that in one way or another.
Absolutely. Hey, Mezzo, welcome to the show.
I have absolutely nothing to add to that. No,
Did you want to ask Godless some questions or anything?
No, I don't. I really just wanted to do. I know I was going to raid over here. It was weird because we went to YouTube first, but I just wanted to sit up here so people could like find me here to bring people over.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And if you are in the chat and you want to ask Godless a question, the guest box is open. Also, if you're shy or whatever, you can ask your questions in chat on YouTube or here in TikTok. I'll read it out to Godless.
I guess I would ask.
You did. Go ahead.
Sorry, I know because I was late, so I don't know if maybe this was already asked or something
No,
to this, but Godless, like, where do you get off? Like, where the fuck do you get off?
Normally in the bedroom with my wife, but you know.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Did you want to ask him his favorite position? Because that is a question you ask people, Mezzo. So I didn't know if that was.
I would never ask someone. That's grotesque, Crystal. I'd never do that.
You're so full of it. You probably drawn all of them. You guys, did he draw all the positions today? Is that what the video was? I missed it.
We got through a few. Yeah, we did get through a few, but not all of them.
Okay. All right. So there's more work that can be done in the future. Future content coming. So.
Yeah, our work is never done. But carry on with the interview, though.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much over on YouTube. We all love you too. John Pelosi says, love you, Crystal. Love you, Godless. Love you, Mezzo. I just want to point out I was first in that line there. So they love me the most. But they love you guys
well
too.
Deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you. Okay, so you do want to dismantle the religion like pretty quickly, I see. Wait, we do have somebody coming up to ask you a question. Bree, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, Bree.
Doing well. Do you have a question for Godless?
I did. So Godless, I actually have two questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The first one is, I heard that you were a mythicist, and so I was just wondering what your best evidence was that Jesus never existed.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I'm kind of a little bit different. It's a kind of a modal argument, based in likelihoods and stuff. So I mean, for me, the best evidence is I guess maybe twofold. I'm kind of sneaking in a second one there in the back doors, as it were. So the first one is the correct reference class. If you put Jesus in the correct reference class as he initially appears in our actual records, he's part of this classical hero type. And he scores really high on it, which is what other non-historical people also score high on. And then you combine that with the mystery cult aspect of the religion as it first appears on the scene with like Paul and Peter and all them. They only know it as a mystery religion. And the key aspect of mystery religions is that there are no savior figures from any of the mystery religions that are venerated that were actually historical people in the past. So the actual claim is that, well, Christianity was the one super special outlier of all the other mystery religions that had like a real historical figure at the center of it. So like, yeah, that's the thing. So I typically, I haven't seen any evidence to overcome that prior likelihood, the reference class issue, and the fact that it's a mystery cult. Like, there's just no evidence that actually points us in that direction, in my opinion.
Awesome, thank you. And the second question was actually relatively easy. Do you ever go live about mythicism?
Oh yeah, that's one of my topics that I talk about. So I generally run with like three topics. It's the first one is Jesus didn't exist, and then it's God is a rapist, and then God supports slavery. That's what I've been running with right now. Like, I have several different prompts that I've run with in the past, but I mean the Jesus didn't exist one is something that I like to talk about a lot.
Awesome. Cool.
Those sound like really good topics. Mine haven't been doing so well, but mine was like Jesus likes Fresca. And I don't know why people don't want to talk about that. But maybe I should try some of yours. Those sound so much better than what I came up with. Bree, did you have any other questions?
Nope, that's it for me. Godless, I went ahead and sent you a follow. I'm excited. I want to see that mysticism live. Also, I realized you followed me, so thank you for that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
Bree does great lives. Y'all should be following everybody pretty much who's up here right now. All amazing people. And Bree, thank you for coming up. I will be putting the video together
I'm
probably
excited.
today or tomorrow. So if you guys don't know, I wrote a song. It's called Cuntified. If you are somebody who wants to be in the video, you have to be femme presenting. Please send me a DM and I'll help you be in the video. But I kind of want to wrap it up today or tomorrow, so you have to do this very quickly. Hey, Small, welcome to the show. How are
Hello,
you?
dear. I've been all right. I know we've been mutuals for, a few years now.
Yeah, a while now, huh? Did you have a question for Godless today?
So, I guess the Jesus myth, I've talked to people about Jesus being a myth, and for certain people, they like to hold on to, well, Jesus was based on some historical figure somewhere, some way. And I'm like, well, there is like maybe a few % chance that there was some random dude named Jesus or Yeshua or something like that they may or may not have based on this Jesus figure. But I don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. I just don't believe that. So, how would you go about talking to people about mysticism?
Well, so
Thanks,
I think one of the bigger issues with the question is that people have the wrong reference class when they start talking about Jesus, because a lot of people, they want to place Jesus in this reference class of mundane person that existed, and that's not actually how Jesus appears on the scene. Like that's the minimal historical Jesus that would have most likely existed if one did. But I think that if you really start from the beginning of it, you really have to characterize Jesus as he first appears. And as he first appears, he's a highly mythological character. Paul, who's our first writing of him, only knows of him as like a divine archangel figure that appears through visions, and he reads them in the scriptures. There's no actual admission, like blatant admission, that Jesus ever walked on earth or did anything on earth or had a ministry or anything like that. It's only much later when these tales are being fabricated about the Jesus. And like, I feel like most atheists out there would agree the Gospels are not, a real Jesus. Like that Jesus definitely didn't exist. And so most of the time people have to mold Jesus into something that could have existed, but that's really kind of like loading up the entire question, if you ask me. It's definitely positioning the entire discussion to only come to the conclusion that he was a historical person, either by the pure fact that there were many of these guys running around, so it's highly likely that he was one, but that's just simply not how he first appears on the scene.
Absolutely. I know for a fact that there is a huge problem with the timeline of when he was born and when they went back to Jerusalem specifically. Specifically about the census that was supposed to be held during this time. However, it would not have been held because it took, I think it took place at least 300, if not 400 years beforehand. Am I correct?
I'm not sure what you're talking about on that one.
So, the census that they had to quote unquote take, so that way Joseph and Mary would go back to their homeland. So Jesus was considered specifically back in, Nazareth.
Yeah, I believe that's Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Well,
They
that
didn't
that
even
one.
take censuses that way either, though.
No, they
It's
don't.
not true that everybody had to go to the hometown of their
Right.
dad. That would be a ridiculous way to do a census.
Right. They had to do this so Jesus would be in that very specific time at that very specific location. So, but when we look back at how the census was taken during that time, not only does it not make sense, but it's not historically accurate. It would have occurred 300, if not 400 years before the birth of Jesus ever took place. So this is what my difficulty was with it. When you compare when the census was took and when Jesus was born, it doesn't make any sense that way either.
Well, so typically, and I don't know if something new has been brought forward, but typically, the census in Luke is attributed to the census that was taken in 6 A.D. And the discrepancy in Jesus' birth is between Matthew and Luke. Matthew has Jesus being born about 4 BCE, whereas Luke has him being born in 6 AD.
Right.
Right. So I guess I don't know which. I mean, they did take censuses, like
King Herod's rule specifically.
Well, so Herod wasn't in Luke. There was no census in Mark. There was only a census in Luke.
Yes. So that doesn't make any sense for the census to take place during the time of Herod. That's when Jesus was born.
No,
it would have occurred years before.
Right. Sorry, that's when Matthew says that Jesus was born, but Luke says Jesus was born in 6 AD.
Right. So it doesn't make any sense.
That's what Small is pointing out, that it doesn't make sense that there was already a known historical tension. Matthew places Jesus' birth during the reign of Herod, and then while Luke connects it to Quirinius in 6 CE. So I think that's what Small is pointing out.
Right.
So it wouldn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it not. Yeah, they're not. They're totally incompatible birth narratives. Yeah, I agree about that.
So, which story do you think that they should cling to in order to be more? Shoot, I don't really know how to put this.
I think they should just throw them both out.
Right,
and just say this is all made up mythology.
Me, right? It would just be logical for me. That's why I'm ex-Christian, to just throw it out, because I don't see any reason why they got the most important figure wrong multiple times within the book about this figure, for this figure made by this perfect God. So when it comes to people trying to cling to this very specific narrative of, well, King Herod was trying to look for Jesus, but then in Luke it said that he was born during the time of the census, which would not have made sense. So then you take it forward a bit to Jesus's unalivement. Who showed up to his tomb? And how many angels were there? How many guards were there? There are so many different retellings of how he rose, or even if he rose at all, and who was told. You would think that they would get the most important parts of this religion or mythicist to a very specific point, but they can't, because it is bits and pieces of different people telling a different story over years upon years after it had supposedly taken place. This is very much how myths by oral were taken or misunderstood. It's a massive game of telephone.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
To answer the question at the beginning, I think that they should go with what Paul thought, and Paul didn't think of Jesus as being really born. The actual wording that he uses is that Jesus was made, like manufactured by God.
Yeah, right.
And wasn't the first gospel released the one by Marcion, Evangeline or whatever, doesn't it have him ascending from heaven to begin with, not born?
Well, I don't agree with because I feel like that's coming kind of from Jaron's point of view, and I don't agree with Jaron that Evangeline was the first gospel that was written. But
Ooh. Okay, this
yeah.
is good. I want to know what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I stick with the mainstream consensus about how the Gospels were written, and that's that Mark was written first anonymously, and then Matthew copied from Mark, and then Luke copied from Matthew and Mark, and then John knew of at least Luke, if not all the other Gospels, and then he crafted his with those in mind. And so I kind of follow
But where
along
did
that.
Evangeline fit into that?
Well, it would have come
Timeline.
after all the Gospels had been established, and Marcion
Okay.
was creating his own stuff and everything. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, I think that they should go with how Paul saw Jesus, and that's a pre-existent archangel figure that was given a manufactured body, and this is actually something in Jewish culture that has been thought before. About other figures in the scriptures, like Philo, he thought Moses was actually given a manufactured body by God and ascended up into heaven. There's some writings by him that say that. So that's actually a thing that is well known in like Jewish or in Old Testament scholarship. So I would just toss out the birth narratives completely. They're all hogwash.
Another question I have for you specifically is, I was reading through the Bible and caught this like a year ago. When we're talking specifically about the fall of the king of Babylon, so many Christians, it's not even funny, believe that this is the fall of Lucifer or the fall of, the angel Lucifer, and then try to reconnect that to Lucifer, the fallen angel, being Satan, even though Hasatan was quite literally a legal term for multiple different people or multiple different specifically situations as well. So for example, Yahweh was called a Satan at one point that rose against Israel during what do you know, another census that David was supposed to take. It's very similar in its structure of the stories, but there are two supposedly, quote unquote, different figures, one being Yahweh and the other being Satan. So, me looking at it, knowing that Satan is now a title, I'm looking at it and I'm going, now wait a minute. So, is this Yahweh but in another title?
Well, so the title that you're talking about there is it just means adversary, right?
Prosecutor, yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. That is just a general title for multiple different entities in the Old Testament. I do think that it's important to point out how Satan doesn't actually appear in the Old Testament at all. That's actually something that was invented as a pesherim with the New Testament, and it was actually derived from Zoroastrian beliefs. So, like, you have Zoroastrians to thank for the whole Lucifer or this celestial adversary.
Love that
God.
for them.
Yeah.
I swear.
Satan doesn't appear in the Old Testament at all. Then wait, who's in Job then?
That's the adversary. That's
it's just the adversary.
Right. Yeah. It's in general, it's the adversary, and typically, like they were saying. I'm sorry. I totally am blanking on your name right now. Small.
You can just call me Small.
Small. That's what Small was pointing out, is that it's a title used for multiple different entities that just show like an adversarial spirit or divine being or whatnot, and that's who God was talking to. It's a later sort of like a retcon, or what it specifically in scholarship it's called a pesherim. Is this reinterpretation of scripture to place like Satan in there, or to call him Satan and whatnot. It's really just the adversary.
Before you continue, Nick, I brought you up on purpose. Can you do a quick commercial for me? I'll be right back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys, you know the drill. Let's get to double tapping that screen. Share it out to at least 5 friends or more, or to your discords. If you have no friends or no discords, hit that copy link at least 5 times. It does help boost the algorithm, which boosts Crystal out there. Also, don't forget to hit that repost button because as you're watching, and if you hit that repost button, it'll come up on your friends as FYPs. Don't forget to collect your points. So when you click the heart me button, it's going to come up with a bunch of points. It's just from gifting, watching, whatever. That also boosts the popularity, which boosts her out into the algorithm more. Host does have some gift goals, so if you got some spare coin, send them to your Witcher. But the best way to support the host is by collecting your points, double tapping, and sharing it out. I do want to add to what Godless was saying, though, if that'd be okay.
Yeah, but before you do, I have to tell you something really funny that is off topic and an inside thing, but it's funny, and I have to tell you before I forget because ADHD. Here's the funny thing. If you haven't, you have to, when you get done here, go listen to the messages I sent you through Discord. And then I want you, as you're listening to those messages, to know that a guy came up on here today, specifically the guy named came up on here today and accused me of saying that I went to theology school, that I used to be a minister, and basically saying that I was educated, and I made all these claims on me's platform, okay? The person me, okay? So just remember that when you listen to the
oh my God.
Okay? Because it's so funny that he said that today after I left you these messages last night. Okay, it's really funny. But before you do that, I just want to say one more thing. Reasonable Doubt asked a while ago. He said, Godless, my question for John is, how do you ground your morals? And I just want you guys to know that all the atheists got together. We've talked about it, and every atheist ground their morals through me now. So that's how. That's where people ground their morals now. All atheists.
Yeah, I'd totally support that right there.
There you go. Okay, go ahead, Nick. You had something actual to say. Go.
Oh yeah, so the Ha-Satan of the Old Testament is like he was saying, the accuser adversary, but he was actually part of the divine council, and his whole job was to basically persecute the believers and non-believers to basically see who would be actually worthy of God. Some Jewish people do believe that at your time of unalivement, the Ha-Satan does stand beside God in your time of judgment, which is actually really cool. So he's not that satanic figure that the Christians came up with, in part from bits of Zoroastrianism, bits of also Greco-Roman belief, and then of course we get the fiery demon imagery from Norse paganism as well. So it's the Ha-Satan and the Christian Satan are two different individuals.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I know if anything, the the most imagery we ever get that would be linked back to the quote unquote devil is in Revelations, the giant dragon that sweeps off 1/3 of the heaven stars, which a lot of people take that as like a serious thing and not really a metaphor. So they think that the 1/3 of the angels fell with quote unquote Satan, quote unquote Lucifer, when more than likely, I don't know, don't quote me on this. This is just me doing my own Bible study when I was, a little Christian alone in my room. So when I was reading this, I was like, so if I am interpreting this in the way the Christians told me to interpret this, if 1/3 of the angels left heaven along with quote unquote Satan, Imagine if it were 1/3 of your company's employees leaving the company. How terrible does the company have to be for one whole
Yeah.
third of your lineage to just leave when they were supposed
Right.
to? Yeah.
Why are they all leaving? And why does Israel not want to be with this God? Why
Right.
is Israel constantly whoring herself out to other gods? You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't know. The people didn't want this God, and the angels didn't want this God.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry, that's what he says. But anyway, yeah. But do you guys have any questions for Godless?
I guess that would be one question I had for Godless. Like, how do you interpret the dragon taking 1/3 of the stars with the swipe of his tail as he falls?
I mean, I think that's I mean, I know that Revelation is more imagery about I want to say Rome. I want to say that it's about some kind of war with Rome. And so I mean, I would just take it into its actual cultural context of when it was written as to what it was kind of talking about is probably how I would do it.
Would you interpret Rome as the dragon taking 1/3 of the lineage?
I mean, I don't know what the scholarship says about that, so I would probably have to defer to what mainstream scholarship would say about that part of Revelation. I haven't looked into it too much. I wish I could give you a better answer.
All right, I'm gonna look up. Nick, do you have anything on this since you are a scholar?
Oh, my apologies. I was reading the fight going on in the comment section. Can you please repeat the question?
Okay, so you know about that dragon in Revelations, right?
That dragon, yes.
Yeah. So not the purple one. We all love that one, but
yes,
no.
we all love the purple dragon.
So when
Puff the magic dragon. I'm sorry, go ahead. I like that dragon.
so
I'm sorry,
when
that's my favorite dragon.
when we look at the verse of the dragon in particular, you know how Christians love to just, pull that back into Satan, but now that Godless has talked about it and saying that it he said might be a kind of metaphor for Rome, do you think Rome was interpreted as the dragon taking 1/3 of the lineage? Because Rome stole a lot of shit.
Different sources in which we see a lot talked about dragons and serpents and whatnot from different cultures stemming from Mesopotamia to Canaan to, even Greece and Rome, right? But my running theory on it is it had to do with they were bringing reinforcements. It was about basically taking over countries and building the army. That's what my personal view on it is. But
hey, you guys, I'm gonna introduce the other guest real quick since this is a little side conversation because I want people to be able to ask Godless his questions real quick. Okay, Siege, welcome to the show. Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Okay, what question did you want to ask Godless? I saw your question in the chat. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know where he thinks humans gain sentience from.
Where?
Yeah.
Like, what body part?
Like how how they want AI to become sentient? Like how, even though they'll never be able to replicate it. So like where do we get?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think that I usually follow along with emergentism. I think consciousness, sentience is an emergent property of a sufficiently complex central nervous system.
So it just emerges from the nervous system.
Well, I think the complex interactions in of a central nervous system like ours produces sentience, like consciousness. Like, I mean, it's an emergent property. I don't know how else to dumb that down.
Like,
No, I
if
see
you
what you're
destroy
saying.
a certain part of the brain, you lose a lot of who you are.
Yeah, for sure. Or how to communicate in a sense, but yeah.
hmm We found that out through lobotomy. So, again, if we scramble your brains a little bit, you might not be the same sage as you were yesterday if we gave you a lobotomy tomorrow. So,
Yeah, and there's a practical example of this, and that's Phineas Gage. Have you ever heard of Phineas Gage?
absolutely.
No.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
so
it's
for
pretty
for
interesting.
yeah, for Siege up there that doesn't know, he's a guy who took like a spike or pole like to the head, it went straight, through his head and everything like that. Fundamentally changed like the structure of his brain and everything like that, destroyed certain parts of it, and he ended up with a completely different demeanor and everything. It was completely changed, and so that seems to indicate that our personalities, our consciousness, our sentience is more of an emergent property that's produced by the complex interactions of our brains.
I just
Yeah.
meant more like the origin of it, I guess, in a sense.
I think he was asking more in chat, like, where did humankind, as we evolved, go from being an animal without sentience to a being that now has sentience?
Well, I mean, we're still animals. We're part of the great apes, and so this is it's just a matter of like how I guess
Wait,
how
what do you mean?
sentient.
Siege, you do know we're part of the great apes, right? You do
I
know
mean, we
that
share
we are
characteristics
part of that, right?
for sure, but
No,
like
we
I don't think
are great
we're an
apes.
ape.
We are
We are
great
an ape.
apes. We are. That's just a
Taxonomically, we're
fact.
Yeah.
like, do you know?
No, it's not an opinion. That's just a fact of what we are classified as.
Like everything, every animal has sentience. They have sentience.
Correct.
We just can't communicate. Well, we actually can communicate with them in a way.
Correct.
We can teach specifically apes, elephants, and other specific kinds of animals to communicate in a way that we can understand.
But my sense is like, where did that like? What was the origin of that?
Evolution.
We evolved into having more sentience.
Abiogenesis.
Dude, you have to have a better argument than it's not an argument. You have to actually.
That's just not indefinite though. It's just not indefinite or it'd be universal.
Well, universal. I don't understand your need. That seems like an arbitrary need for universal. I think what you're wanting is a transcendental explanation, and that just simply doesn't exist. So you're loading up your expectation with something that you
I'm just saying we just don't have the answers for
No, I have answers. I just have answers you don't like. That's what this amounts to.
Do we have the answers for everything?
I don't say that we have the answers for everything, but we do have answers for this question that you have. You just don't.
We have answers for theories. Yeah, I mean, abiogenesis is a theory.
Oh my gosh, do you know what a theory is?
Evolution is a theory.
What's a theory?
Really
Hold
quickly,
on.
guys, I need to do the mod thing. I really am
Big Bang
sorry.
is a theory.
Hold on. I need to do the mod thing.
Just one moment. Nick is talking for a minute, please.
Okay, guys, in the comments section, let's cut it out. Let's stop. This has gone way too far. KC is Godless's spouse, so can we just stop, please? This is a friendly area. It doesn't matter if they have differentiating opinions than us, okay? I get it, but these are friendlies. Let's stop attacking friendlies and respect to Godless, especially, let's stop. Enough is enough. It's gone too far.
Just so you all know, Jaren is a friend of the show. Godless is a friend of the show.
Godless is the homie.
This is just proof. What?
I'm a what?
What?
I said I was getting a call. I said I was getting a call. I said Godless is the homie.
Okay, so don't interrupt when people are talking. Okay. Anyway, so let's stop arguing in the chat. This is proof all atheists, we don't think alike, but we can also be very cordial to each other. So go ahead and get back to your conversation. Let's try to keep the conversation with Godless in the conversation.
Yeah, I was
okay?
just
'Cause
basically
this is
saying they're
his
theories
show,
and there's
okay?
no universal and definite answer. So that's all I
No,
was saying.
but you see, that's the problem, is that you're loading it up. You're loading your expectations up with some transcendental absolute answer when that's not how anything has ever worked. We are processing reality through our human perception, like our limited human experience. So like we will never know if we've attained some kind of like absolute truth. Like how would you know if you know something absolutely to be true?
There's some absolutes.
Like what?
Death.
Well,
Birth.
death, like just the fact that people die.
I mean, that's an absolute, is it not?
I mean, there are, humans die. I mean, that
But
is
you
a
don't
fact.
believe
But
that,
how do you-
Siege. You actually believe there's
No, I
some
believe we
humans
die.
that don't die. No, you believe there's humans that don't die.
Oh, you're
You
talking about
believe
the
in the
Old Testament?
Bible, right? You believe in the Bible, right? And you
Of
believe that you're
course.
going to live forever, right?
But not in the sense
So
of
you
how we're
can't say
living.
something
Not in the
is
sense of how we're.
absolute.
Not in the sense of how we're
You
living
can't say
now.
something's absolute and then also say that there are, times where
Well, yeah,
it's
that's
not
just
that way.
absolute
You know what
to
I
a
mean? Exceptions to the rule.
transition.
It's not absolute if there's an exception to the rule.
I mean, there's no exception. I just feel like it's clearly an
There
absolute
is
that's
an
going to
exception to
transition
the
into
rule.
something.
There's Elijah.
So,
There is an absolute. There is an exception.
so Siege, death being an absolute, just that people die. You think that there's no way at any point that we could develop something that would cause us to continue living?
I mean, never say never. That's what Justin Bieber said, right?
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I've been talking to you about right now, is that you don't absolutely know that, right? So like there's no way to know that we have attained absolute knowledge about something. That there's no way to like at any point. That's the limitation that we have as human beings. So like we have no way of knowing that. So even like even if you want to appeal to a God, like I'm guessing you're Christian.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, that tracks. So like do you think that your God is omnibenevolent?
Well, are you going like the whole shtick, like the whole omni thing, or I'm lost? What are you trying to do?
I asked you a question about your personal position on God.
I feel like I know that he's all powerful, omnipresent, correct? Yes, all those things.
Well, correct. Hold on. But what I asked about omnibenevolent, and you said everything but that. Do you think God is good all the time, and all the time God is good?
Correct.
Okay, correct. Then explain to me why God would order the Israelites to unalive baby boys in Numbers 31.
I'm not. I mean, I can't speak for. I'm not God, so.
See, the pure fact that you cannot sit there and condemn the unalivement of full-ass babies and children, that should say something about you and your faith.
I mean, not really. I just can't speak for something. I can't speak for a being that's not me, you know?
Hey,
but you do talk for him all the time.
Right,
you guys will tell us how he loves us, how he wants a personal relationship with us. No, you only talk for him when you want to. And then when we put your feet to the fire, you go, I can't talk for him.
Right. I want to, as a quick demonstration, I'm just going to go down the line here. Crystal, is it bad to unalive babies?
Yes.
All right. Small, in the context of Numbers 31, is it bad to go in and unalive babies?
Yes.
Nicholas, is it bad to unalive babies in Numbers 31?
In any situation, yes.
All right. Siege, is it bad to go in and unalive babies?
You can say the same thing about the flood or Noah's Ark. I mean,
yeah, right. I could go down the line with all three.
Yeah.
All three of
Right.
other
It
people
was
here.
horrible.
I mean,
No,
but there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on back then. So,
Like, where do you get your morals from, Siege? Because I don't want them.
come on, what are we talking about?
Oh, if you can't say a simple yes
Wait,
to
let's let
unaliving
them
babies.
talk. Don't forget.
Of course, I think that's wrong.
Let's let Godless talk to him. This is
Of course, I think that's
not
wrong.
a panel today. This is his show today.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just answered. I said, of course, I think that's wrong.
You think it's so? You think God is wrong?
No, I just think the action of unaliving babies is wrong. I'm not for
Okay.
abortion, so I'd be a hypocrite if I
God
said
directly
so.
commanded Moses to unalive babies, and even if you don't want to go with Numbers 31, there's 1 Samuel 15, 1-3, where God directly says unalive babies. Ezekiel 25, Ezekiel 20, 25 and 26 has God attesting to the fact that he commanded the Israelites to do detestable things like sacrificing their firstborn children. Do you think that it's a good thing to sacrifice 7-day-old babies?
No, but that's what the people were doing back then. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going back.
Is God
He said he
omniscient?
caused it.
Is God omniscient?
Yes, he's good all the time, of course.
All right, so it was a good thing to drive a knife into the chest of a baby.
Well, it just gets like, I don't know. I feel like it's a gray area.
Yeah, no, yeah, you see, it's a gray area. It's a gray area to drive a knife into the chest of a baby.
Wow.
Well, I don't agree with that, with the action, but I feel like there's a lot of context being left out.
Is there? What
I
context?
mean, yeah,
in what
we were
context? Siege,
back
in
then.
what context? No, Siege. In what context do you have a woman birth a baby, let her have the baby for 7 days, and then on the 7th day take a knife and drive it through the baby's heart?
I believe that the Bible is true, but I also believe that it's been also manspread in a lot of ways too, though. So, like, I don't.
Technically, if they were sacrifices, the throats would have been sliced and their blood would have been slaughtered on the altars.
There you go. I mean, sorry. Thank you, Nicholas, for the correction on that.
Just to make things worse, because I'm all about that.
Yeah. So in what context, Siege? I'm wondering if you can describe a context in which bloodletting a baby, a 7-day-old baby child, would be a good thing.
I don't agree with that. I wouldn't do that.
If God commanded you to do that, would you?
God wouldn't command me to do that, though.
No, God has commanded that in the past.
That's not the question.
Yeah. If God came to you, Jesus appeared to you in the middle of the night and was like, hey, I need you to slaughter a baby for me, would you do it?
Jesus isn't align himself with those things.
Your non-answer doesn't get you out of the question. What it does is it shows how weak you are. Because again, in a heartbeat, I'm going to say, listen, watch this. In a heartbeat, I'm going to say to Godless, you know what? Not only would I not do it, I could not condone it anymore. That's why I'm not a Christian anymore, Godless. I was like, what
so
the hell?
when did Jesus choose violence, though?
Jesus was the Lord of the Old Testament. He tells you that over and over again. He says, I am the Lord that commanded these things.
You've obviously never read Revelation.
You can't make it a Trinity. You can't make it a Trinity and also, you can't make it a Trinity and also say it's not a Trinity at the same time. What you're doing is like, it is, we are watching the cognitive dissonance in real time happen to you right now. You're like, yes,
how am I disagreeing
I think unaliving babies is, you're contradicting everything you're saying. Yes, I would never unalive babies, but it's a gray area. Oh, Jesus is God, but he's also not God, so he didn't say that. It's cognitive dissonance in
I never said Jesus wasn't God.
Real time. Just did. You just said he didn't do this.
I just said while he was I just said when he was walking like in like 2,000 years ago, Nazareth and all these other.
You can't separate the two. You can't separate the two.
It was a different revelation.
If I murdered somebody 15 years ago, I'm still the murderer today, Pumpkin.
Not necessarily.
Yes, you are.
Unless you kept doing the action.
I'm still the murderer who murdered them in the past.
So
I don't get to not be that person.
So Siege, let's put this to the test. Let's say that there's a person that goes out and grapes a 14-year-old child, and never grapes another 14-year-old child again. Does that negate the fact that they graped a 14-year-old child?
Doesn't negate. No, it doesn't negate it. I see what you're saying. They still did the action, so like I see what you're saying. But I feel like that person could also change from that said action or be different in the future.
But Jesus said
If
he
God,
didn't change. He
if
said,
God's all
I
powerful and
am
if
that
God's all
God.
powerful, who says he can't change through a revelation though? I'm so lost.
God
Yeah,
said he can't change. God said, I do not change.
I would.
God is the same yesterday,
There's
as
many
today,
changes
as
throughout the Bible.
tomorrow. Siege, how much of the Bible have you read? Out of curiosity.
My bad, my phone's about to die. Decent amount.
What's a decent amount? Have you read the entirety of the New Testament?
Yeah, I haven't read more so like the entirety of like the Old Testament, to be honest.
Okay, so how much have you read of the Old Testament?
Like Genesis, just like probably only a couple, not like a lot.
Well, don't you need the Old Testament to be able to understand why the New Testament happened?
Not necessarily. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
No, you don't. Is that maybe why you can't really answer Godless's direct answers, because you actually don't know anything? And you're just spewing
guess I don't know
nonsense from your
anything.
own brain rather than using the actual text?
Can you name
Because
the
the
verse?
text says
Can you
God
name
is the
the-
same
can you
as
name the-
yesterday, as today, as tomorrow.
Can you name the verse where God says that you have to read every single line and word and page?
I mean, just because
It's
you're a
supposed to
lukewarm
be on
Christian
the
isn't my
or
fault.
is that a personal opinion from you?
No, it's really
Just-
wild that us
Oh.
non-Christians have actually read the Bible, but Christians haven't. It's really odd to me.
What, that it's not a whose string is bigger than the other string? Like, what does it matter if someone remembers a certain
Because
amount
if
of
I'm signing a
scripture
soul,
page?
if I'm signing a soul contract, I wouldn't want to know who I'm selling my soul to, and obviously you don't.
Oh, so you believe in souls? That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not an atheist, but
Actually, Nicholas is not an atheist. Siege. Not everybody is an atheist.
Oh, Godless would
But
say
hey,
you
you
don't.
guys, I want to
Godless
move
would
the
say you don't have a soul.
conversation forward, and you're not listening to me. So I'm going to go ahead and drop you because you talk over me too much. But thank you for coming up. That was a lovely conversation. You guys, right now is the time of the live where we're going to play your favorite freaking game ever. So get up here in the boxes. You know what to do. It's time for Divine or Decline. And don't sit down there. I will pull you up here on the show. Don't make me do it, okay? You guys know who you are. Get up here, play Divine or Decline with us. So normally Godless, it is a lot more godless people coming up here to ask you questions. But today they were feisty and they wanted to talk to you and duke it out.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I wish that they would follow me and come up on my lives and like argue with me, because I'll sit there and I'll play. I've got games that I play, and I would love to play games with them.
And that's funny too, because I go live Monday through Friday, and they usually come up and crash out pretty hard on me really quick because, I'm a woman, and so they have to like do some kind of misogynistic bullshit within 5 minutes of talking to me. But, you guys can come back. I'm live Monday through Friday, and I play a game too. We're going to play it right now. Tahir, are you working? Do you have excuses for why you're not up here hanging out? KJ, are you coming up? Who all is in here? I'm going to start calling out your names. Lisa Marie, are you coming up? Sarah, are you coming up? Lilith, are you coming up to play Divine or Decline? You guys get up here. Douglas, OK, are you coming up to play? Who's coming up to play with us? Here comes
so
Sarah.
explain Decline or Divine or Decline.
I will. I'll explain it all to you. You guys, Divine or Decline is just the best game that was ever invented, and it was invented by me because I'm funny like that. And so here's how the game is going to work. I'm going to read you 10 statements, okay? 10 phrases, if you will, 10 verses, okay? If it is from the Bible, and let's be very clear, I have to use a specific Bible due to copyright infringement. I use the American Standard Version of the Bible. I do not deviate from the Bible. I do not paraphrase the Bible to trick you. But if it is from the Bible, you're going to say divine. It's just that simple. You're going to say divine. But if it is from the Quran, the Book of Mormon, or I made it up, it is decline. So it's a very simple answer, divine or decline. There are no points, and the last question decides the winner because we just always do that for the fun of it. But hey, KM Rubik's, if you want to come up and play, you're invited. I'm going to invite you. If you want to come up and play with us, we're about to play divine or decline. You guys, I have stickers in the chat. You guys should still have divine or decline stickers if you want to answer with those in chat. YouTube, you guys play along, divine or decline. And we're going to start right now. And I'm just going to go from top to bottom. Okay, all right. Okay, Robin, if you come up when you can. We'll just start with you when you get up here, okay? All right. Hey, Sarah, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Doing well. Good to see you. Okay, here comes Robin. Robin's coming up to play. Hey, Ace, good to see you. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top, and I'll just ask in order, and I'll go down to Godless, okay? So Godless, you have time to think about it, but don't Google, okay? No Googling. All right, here we go. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. God, these words. Robin, divine or decline?
I'm going to go with divine.
Okay, Sarah.
Also divine.
All right, Nicholas.
Divine.
All right, Small.
Divine.
Godless.
I'll go with the divine too. I'm a little wishy-washy on that.
It's decline. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's not. You guys got it right. It's divine. That is Proverbs 13:24. I just can't pronounce those old tiny words. So I think that's going to be a tell for you guys. If I can't pronounce the words. Okay. The fool kindleth strife as dry stubble before the wind. Robin.
Can you repeat it? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. The fool kindleth strife as dry stubble before the wind.
I'm going to go with decline.
All right, Sarah.
Also decline.
All right, Nicholas.
Decline.
All right, Small.
Declined.
All right, Godless.
I too decline.
You guys are doing really good today. That is decline. I made that up. So we're going on. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up. Robin.
Divine.
All right, Sarah.
Divine.
Nicholas.
Divine.
Small.
Divine.
Godless.
Divine.
You guys are the best ones that I've ever had up here before. That is 4 for the whole team. Okay, we're on to the next, or 3 for 4. Was it 3 or 4? Was it 4, 3? 3.
I think that was 3.
Okay, 3 for 3. It still was good. It was still really good. Okay, let's go for 4. And thus we see that by small means the Lord can bring about great things. Robin.
I'm going to go with divine. Also, they're only getting this right because they've been copying me. No, I'm just joking. I'm going to go decline. I'm not because you said that. I have to break off because you said that. No, I have to say decline.
Nicholas.
Watch me get it wrong too.
I follow no leaders. Decline.
Okay, Small.
Declined.
All right, Godless.
Can you read it one more time?
Yes, and thus we see that by small means the Lord can bring about great things.
I'll go with decline as well.
That is decline. That is from the Book of Mormon. Good
It
job,
sounded
no.
Mormon.
everyone.
My
It sounded Mormon, yeah.
hubris. I flew too close to the sun.
You did fly too close to the sun, didn't you? You guys are kicking ass today, though. I'm very proud of you. Look at these atheists up here. I think a few of you have the Holy Spirit. I'm just saying the way you guys can discern things.
Oh, please
Okay,
don't
here
tell
we go.
Father Mark that.
I'm going to tell him that. All right, here we go. He shall be set before him, and he shall be given water like molten brass to drink. Robin.
Goodness. I'm gonna go with divine.
All right, Sarah.
Did you say molten rats?
Brass?
No, brass. Brass.
Molten brass. That makes more sense. I'll say decline.
All right, Nicholas.
A decline.
All right, Small.
That sounds familiar, but I'm gonna go with decline.
All right, Godless.
I'm gonna say divine on this one.
I do love Molten Rats for a band named Ken. I agree 100%. That was declined. That was Surah 14:16 in the Rodwell translation of the Quran. Okay,
Ooh,
here we go.
Oh, rats.
Rats. And I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh. Robin.
I'm gonna go with divine.
All right, Sarah.
Sorry, I was divine. Sure, I was typing divine.
I see it. It's great. Nicholas.
I think I'm gonna go decline.
All right, Small.
I guess I'll go with decline.
Okay, Godless.
I know this is religious. I just can't place it in the Bible, maybe, but I feel like it's divine.
It is divine. That's Deuteronomy 32:42,
Oh,
y'all.
man.
That is very divine. All
You know
right,
that
here
molten
we
brass
go.
one? I was like, where have I heard this before?
Yeah.
I thought it was in the Bible. I recognized it because I've read the Quran. I was like, no, I've been duped.
Oh, well, they do drink molten gold in the Bible too, so that might have been.
This is like
when
10 times
when they
harder for
melt
me because
down.
I've read every holy book.
They melted down the calf, and then Moses made them drink the gold or something like that. I don't remember. Joel loves that part. It's one of his favorite things that they do. Okay, the heart of man deviseth his way, but Jehovah directeth his steps. Robin.
Divine.
All right, Sarah.
Decline.
All right, Nicholas.
Can you say it one more time?
I think so. The heart of man deviseth his way, but Jehovah directeth his steps. No, his steps. I'm just kidding. It's not steps.
Decline.
Okay. Small.
This is just from the Bible, right? Not from any of the other translations.
It's only divine if it's from the Bible, and I use the American Standard Version.
Okay. I would have to say decline.
All right, Godless.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say decline on this one too.
But it is divine. That's Proverbs 16:9.
With Jehovah.
You and your
the
Proverbs
spirit.
get me every damn time.
It's the Jehovah that got me.
I know that Jehovah will get you every time, but it's something that they like to say in the ASB. They also like to say in the Book of Mormon, so there can be some confusion there.
Yeah.
They were both written around the same time too, I think, within like 40 or 50 years or something. Anyway, and it came to pass that he was chained with strong cords and confined in prison. Robin.
I'm just hung up on the chords thing, but I'm gonna say divine.
All right, Sarah.
Decline.
All right, Nicholas.
One more time.
And it came to pass that he was chained with strong cords and confined in prison.
Trying
By
to
chords, do they mean
remember.
rope? Are we talking about rope? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know. I'm not doing a Bible study right now, Robin.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm still keeping my answer. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to look up and see who wrote this first before I can tell you what they're talking about. Anyway,
You know what?
Nicholas, what?
I think I'm gonna go with decline because I don't think chord was used. I'm gonna go decline.
Okay, Small.
I'm probably gonna stray from Nicholas a bit and say divine.
Okay, Godless.
I'm going decline on this one.
It is declined. That is from the Book of Mormon. 1830 edition is what I use, by the way, because that's copyright free. The Quran is copyright free too, as well. Only the Bible is there copyright editions that you can't use. Okay, let's go on. He who soweth violence shall reap confusion. Robin.
He who soweth violence shall reap confusion. That seems too just. I think I'm gonna go with decline.
All right. Sarah?
Decline as well.
Okay, Jeffers says decline. That's DC talk. I should use lyrics from, from old Christian bands. Go ahead, Nicholas. Divine or decline?
I want to say decline, but this sounds like it could be another freaking proverb. Decline.
Could be. Okay. Small?
Well, it bit me in the ass last time, so I'm gonna say decline.
Okay, Godless?
I'm going with divine on this one.
It's decline. I made it up. Okay, here we go. And thou shalt not suffer a sorceress to live. Robin.
Divine.
Sarah.
Definitely divine.
Nicholas.
See, I've never read your version, so I don't know if it says sorceress in exchange of witch. Shit. I'm gonna say divine and hope it's just your translation is different.
Small?
Straight from God's mouth, divine.
All right, Godless.
Divine.
Do you guys like how I don't have any tells, though? Like, you still don't know. You're still wondering. You're still going, what is she going to say? Is it divine? Is it decline? I can't tell. Because I don't have any tells, right? I do have a great
I'd be
poker
afraid
face.
to play
That
poker
is
with you.
divine. And that's divine.
What if I could
That
read
is
it through your
Exodus
glasses?
22:18. Okay, here we go. The last one. When the grave shall be turned upside down. Robin.
When the grave shall be turned upside down. That doesn't sound like anything I've read in the New Testament. And if it was from the Old, they believed in Sheol. So I'm like, I'm gonna go with decline on this one.
All right, Sarah.
Declan.
Okay, Nicholas.
Decline.
Okay, Small.
Your card is declined.
Okay, Godless.
I'm gonna have to go with decline too.
That is decline. That's from the Quran. How did you guys do? Did anybody get them all right? Anybody?
I got a C minus. I think I got a 7
I
out of
missed
10.
one because of a translation issue. I think it's kind of your fault.
I missed a
think I
couple.
missed
Not my
I know I missed a
two.
couple.
I think I missed about as
You
many
guys
as
did really
Nicholas
good.
missed.
That's because you're
I
just
bragged
copying
and
me. Let's
immediately
be
got
for
one
real.
wrong.
Because I love you very much. Well, I did stray from you that one time.
You
and it bit me in
did,
the
and then
ass.
regretted it.
Yeah, instantly. But I did follow your instructions and still got it wrong, so it still bit me in the ass. You're supposed to be the Bible scholar
Don't
here.
ever
I'm just
follow
a mere
her.
little kid.
Don't ever follow him. You can't follow Nicholas. Sarah, Crystal cheats. I do cheat a little bit. I love to write made up ones to sound like Ecclesiastes or Proverbs, or to use terminology that I know that you guys know is in the book, because it's fun to do that. You guys, I want to thank you all for being here, but I want to talk to Godless for a minute. Godless, when do you go live? Where do you go live? Where can we find you next? Tell us, promote yourself. Tell us what's coming up. What's going on?
Well, so I'm off work tomorrow, and I'm on Skep Talk that tomorrow night. But I was considering doing like a TikTok thing at some point during the day tomorrow. I usually play games on my live. I developed two games, one for contradictions and one for the horrible things God has done in the Bible. And I typically like to try to get Christians to play it so that they can, realize either there are contradictions or God's horrible. And so I don't have a regular schedule right now, but typically I'm trying to, like, Tuesday nights I have free to like do a live thing. And I typically try to go live before Justin does, whenever he does go live, or Dalton goes live. So typically it's like about 4 o'clock or so and going for a couple hours, maybe on Tuesdays or Thursdays, something like that, are typically when I would be trying to go live. But I'm just a little bit sporadic right now. I do have Skep Talk on the line on YouTube tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central, though, for sure.
All right, you guys make sure you're checking that out for sure. And then what are some of the upcoming conventions? You have one that you're like hosting though and everything, right? When is that? Where can we find out more information about that?
Yeah, so we just recently formed Rocket City Reason, and you can go to rocketcityreason.com. It's our first year for the conference. It's in North Alabama. You can go to rocketcity.com to see the schedule and the speakers. rocketcityreason.com, sorry. rocketcityreason.com. You can see the schedule and everything. It's October 23rd through 25th. We've got Friday night festivities, like an Alabama barbecue and a drag show. We'll be playing games that night. And then Saturday's the conference where we've got a lot of panelists and speakers. We'll have Seth Andrews there, Forrest Valkai, Erica Gutsick Given, but also some TikTok people that y'all may know: Black Atheist Rants, Thinker, Jesus Unfollower, and several people. Volsi is a MC
Hell yeah.
for the event. Archradish, I don't know if y'all know Archradish on here. But so we've got a lot of great people that are going to be there. We've got a lot of people that we're going to be announcing as featured guests. Like I know Justin, Deconstruction Zone, he's definitely going to try to be there. And we've got several people that we're planning on putting on the website for featured guests. But it's just basically going to be like an online content creation smorgasbord kind of thing in October. So that's October 23rd
I love
through 25th.
Bart,
And
love Volsi.
yeah,
They're
it's
amazing.
It's in Huntsville, Alabama. It'll always be in Huntsville, Alabama, because that's where we live. But it'll be there, and we'll have an awesome time. But I'm also going to be at like NanoCon. There's also BajaCon for any of the Canadians out there. BajaCon is up in Sarnia, Ontario. We're going to be on the Free Thought Cruise in March, where I'm also speaking on the Black Non-Believers Cruise, the CCon. So yeah, it's we've got a lot of stuff going on this year.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, there's the Revival of Reason, I think, that's out in Atlanta. I'm doing that too, and apparently I'm speaking at that as well. I'm not sure if the Black Non-Believers know I'm not black, because they're asking me to speak at a lot of stuff.
That's really cool. I really love Bar and Volsey, and Thinker will be my guest next Sunday right here for Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. So make sure you guys put me on your calendar for that. This is her makeup. We were supposed to do one a couple of weeks ago, and so that's why you got messages from me going, are we still off for today? Because I know that you guys get busy with your calendars and stuff, and so sometimes, people forget, and that's okay. But I was like, I just kind of want to know, do I have to, do I have to do makeup today or not? That's really where the question always lands. Am I going to have to draw eyebrows on today or not? So
yeah, honestly, I'm not in my messages too much, so I'm sorry for missing that.
That's okay. That's okay. I see. I caught you with Joel and Mezzo, and it just worked out, right? So, I was like, oh yay, he did remember. Oh, cool. But you guys, I want to thank everybody for being here. Let me promote myself for a minute because I've got things. I've got stuff. Do you know what dropped today, you guys? My episode of Girls Gone Godless. And yes, Tahir, I said it right this time. Girls Gone Godless, the podcast, drops new episodes every Sunday, and I was their guest, and my episode dropped today. It's called something like Bell's Bargo. Make sure you check it out wherever you stream your podcast. That being said, my first podcast dropped on Wednesday, my first episode of Anti-Sermons. I'm really excited about it. It's the sermons that you guys hear in my lives that I do on every girl or girls, woman or women, named or unnamed in the Bible chronologically. We're going through all of them. We're asking them to step forward, and we're pushing the male stories to the background because the men have had the microphone for far too long. It's time for the women to step up and tell us their stories in the Bible. So we're going through that methodically, and my podcast dropped on Wednesday. You can listen to that. I think it's everywhere but on Apple right now, because Apple is a pain. Like, they were just kind of a pain for me. So it will get there eventually. But it is on like Amazon, it's on Spotify, it's on iHeartRadio, wherever else. And last but not least, my album, Ex Parte, my Deconstruction album, is everywhere. So is A Seat at the Table. Make sure you guys go listen to it. My music is under CrystalJae, CrystalJae, all one word. Make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube and everywhere and all the good places. Robin, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great day. It's good to see you. I am putting together the music video sometime today or tomorrow. So just so you guys know, I am getting that out there too. Sarah, always good to see you. Sarah, when do you go live again?
I'm thinking about going live today for a little bit.
Okay.
Probably like an hour.
Did you want to go live? Right. Okay. In about an hour. You guys make sure that you follow Sarah. We have somebody coming up. We've got 15 more minutes. Let's bring up Constantine.
Hello.
Hi, Constantine. How are you today?
I am doing good. I am happy to join your conversation, and I would like to discuss what you're on your mind.
Okay. First of all, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
My age is more than 40 years old.
Okay. And today we're talking to Godless Engineer. It's a Q&A for Godless Engineer. So do you have a question for Godless Engineer?
At this time, no idea. I'm ready
No.
to
Okay. Well, thank you
discuss.
for coming up. Okay. Thank you for coming up. Sometimes people join lives and they don't know what we're doing. They just join. I don't know what they're doing. I'll join them too. Grana Zana has a question. We'll bring Grana up. Hey, Grana, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I got so much paint on me today, though. I can't tell you.
Oh my goodness. What are you painting?
Myself, on with white clothes on for your video.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
So I hope it turned out okay because my first round was perfect and I lost the video. So I had to so I redid it 3 times and I'm like, this is the best it's gonna get. By then I had no makeup on and like it's really funny. But I had a blast.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had fun.
Question. Oh yes, it was so much fun. Godless, I have a question for you.
Yeah. What's up?
Big cowboy hats, do they mean Christian or non-Christian?
Big cowboy hats mean I don't know. What? I feel like this is an inside joke I don't get.
No, it's just when you see the on anytime you see people with big cowboy hats in movies and stuff, they're always like saying that they believe in God whether they do or not. They just like they're God believers. So I just wondered if that was something that you never thought of.
Because he has a cowboy hat on in his
it's so
in
cool.
his profile pic.
It looked good.
Oh yeah, so that was my 40th birthday party, which is, and that's why I had the cowboy hat on. I was just being silly, but yeah, I mean, I think that like just indicative of just like Southern culture. I mean, I think that Southerners just being like Christian is just part of their identity. I think is a kind of a big thing.
Oh, all right. And what is your favorite thing to do when you're not like on TikTok?
When I'm not on TikTok, my favorite thing to do. I mean, honestly, it's just sort of relaxing here on the couch with my wife and binge watching shows. Currently, we're watching Smallville.
Oh, I love Smallville.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're trying to not
How
think too much
nice.
about the Nexium thing, but it's not ruined it too bad.
Oh, good. Well, that was it. I just wanted to. I saw the cowboy hat and I was curious.
Well, thanks for coming up, Grana. We love you. And you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the live because, well, I just didn't charge my phone last night or something. It's like about to die here, and I'd rather end it without it dying on everybody. But I want to thank you so much for being here, Godless. I really appreciate it. It was really nice getting to know you better. And I hope that we can do this again in, like about 6 months. Get a little update on you, see what you're doing, and hopefully I will meet you one day at one of these conventions. I'd love to go to one. They sound so fun.
They are really fun. And, Crystal, I so appreciate you asking me to come up and spend some time with y'all. I've really enjoyed the community that's both here on TikTok and elsewhere, the deconstruction community. It's been great. And, I really appreciate being welcomed in, even though I'm such an old guard kind of person, in the community. I really do appreciate it.
Well, I really think that a lot of us did know you from over on YouTube, but we were over here, and when we saw you were over here, we were really excited. They were like, "Yay, he's over here now!" So we're glad you're here, and I enjoy your content. I hope everybody's following you here and over on YouTube. You have amazing content, and it's just been a pleasure to get to know you more personally. Thank you again, Robin, Sarah, Nicholas, and Small, and everybody on YouTube and in the TikTok chat. Thank you so much for being here. Is there somebody we could raid right now? Who's out there yapping today?
I just want to say thank you so much to all the nice comments that are coming through, like Small and Pink. Everybody, y'all are just awesome.
I just met you today. I've known CrystalJae for quite some time, and I've known Nicholas for, I don't know how long I've known this man. But it's
It's
been a
been
hot minute.
84 years.
It's been 84, 407 years ago, back when I was a wee lad. But Godless, this is probably the first time of me seeing you. I'm actually very glad that I got to meet you. Quite a few people are, young, new, and old, and are starting to come back to the deconstruction community, and it makes me happy. My little 4-year-old sober, deconstructing ginger self. It makes me so happy that we're like reuniting with some of the older ones that have been doing this for a long time, and then me popping back in CrystalJae's. I've been just moving around to new people to see if we can all get together. I have my own um group chat, Atheist United. There's quite a few pagans on there as well, and just other people that have been in the deconstruction community for a while. I could send you an invite if you would like it.
Sure, feel free. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you guys have a great day. I will be going live here
I
right
did
after
too.
this.
All right, you guys can either go raid Smalls. Also, Mama Bash's live and Daniel's live. Wherever you go, go tell them that CrystalJae loves them. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you around the mean streets of TikTok and YouTube. Bye.
Bye.
Hay uno abajo al lado derecho, del lado del horno, a la derecha. El otro está, el grande está en el dishwasher.
Getting melted, dude.
Yes.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
At least we got backup. At this point, which, like you said, we're hit and miss. Oh, I'm so close. I'm gonna heat that up in a minute.